Racing Outreach offers today's invocation.
Father, we thank you that we have the opportunity to be here today. And as we humble our hearts here, we pray for the community and the families in Virginia Beach. Lord, we just pray that you'd continue to heal them in the days of come. Father, we thank you for all the men and women that are here from our armed forces. We salute them. And Father, we pray for our leaders of our great country, Lord, that you would guide and direct them. Father, we pray for Pocono Raceway today. Lord, you extend your hand of safety to all the people watching, the people working, and those competing in today's race. For it's in Christ's name, amen.
And now, here to honor America with their performance of our national anthem, please welcome from the United States Air Force Security Forces, Dover Air Force Base, Technical Sergeant Chris Whiting, accompanied by Carlene Miller from the Scranton School for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing Children.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
It's about to go down in Pocono. William Byron will lead the field to green with Kyle Busch right next to him. We'll go green flag racing next.
Daytona and bigger. Ooh, I wanna take ya. Las Vegas, Montana, Dover and Atlanta. Lugano, the 2-0. Plainview, out we go. We'll race ya up in the mountains. There's a place called Pocono. That's where you wanna go and shadow in it all. Bodies in the stands, tall cans melting in your hand. We'll be falling in love to the racing of our expo man. Down in Daytona and Dega. Ooh, I wanna take you to Las Vegas, Montana, Dover and Atlanta. Lugano, the 2-0 lane. You wanna race it down in Pocono. The rest will pass because this goes on slow. That's where we wanna go. This is Pocono.
So good luck getting that song out of your head the rest of the, I don't know, year.
Just hoping you don't sing that to us later.
Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Win your battles, earn your name. Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR. I actually thought that was pretty clever.
Yeah, super creative. I like to know
Super
who came up with
creative.
that.
Kokomo, Pocono, you know, it's all a lot of fun. Kevin Harvick did say he thought that strategy was going to be the key today, not speed. There's William Byron, who will start on the pole. You think that that's true?
Well, I mean, William Byron the last 2 weeks to be on the front row, you know that they keep learning and that Chad Knaus hopefully has that car better in race trim today and they can get their first win.
Yes, there's a lot of guys out there hoping to break the spell that Penske and Joe Gibbs Racing has put on the entire field this season, but they, of course, could do it again. Time now to start engines in Pocono. Let's go trackside for the command.
Race fans, it's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Please welcome our Grand Marshals, Lieutenant General Giovanni Tuck, United States Air Force Joint Staff Pentagon, Lieutenant General Todd Semonite, Commander, United States Army Corps of Engineers, and Major General Andrew Schaefer, Commanding General 28th Infantry, Pennsylvania National Guard.
Drivers, start your engines!
Last week, 400 laps, 600 miles, 1,600 turns took Martin Truex to his third win of 2019. Today, roughly 600 miles away from Charlotte, can the 19 plus one on his teammate, the 18, in the wins department? Pocono Raceway, 2.5 miles, 3 corners, not 4, a scalene triangle of speed. Experience is usually greater than the novice, but sometimes the laws of logic are flawed. Will there be a new factor put into this equation? Or will the known quantities solve their acute need for a win? They say that numbers never lie, but they sure can be tricky. Commercial in 3, 2, 1.
This track is your biggest competition.
There's nowhere more fun to
Well,
try.
this is going to be a nail biter.
Huge crowd on hand here today at Pocono Raceway.
Here we go. Ready.
It's the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series at Pocono Raceway in eastern Pennsylvania. And it's going to be a beautiful day, at least for a while. There was a little bit of a sprinkle early, not even enough for an umbrella. But now track temp of 78, air temp of 66. Nice day to make a lot of horsepower. For 46 years, NASCAR's best have been challenged by this most unique racetrack of 3 different length straightaways, 3 different bank and radius corners. It is a real test of a driver's and a team's skill. So, Darrell, what is the key to winning this race today?
Well, I always focus on turn 3. I think if you watched the race yesterday, for instance, Cole Custer. Yeah, Cole Custer. Sorry. I was thinking about Cole Trickle. No,
I know.
He got underneath to the 2 car and won that race. I think you got to be good off of turn 3. That's what I always focused on.
Restarts are key?
Oh, big. Today, I think if you come here and you've seen 5, 6 wide, we may see more than that. Today, this front straightaway's wide. They're going to use every bit of it.
So, Jeff, if that's the key to winning, you just can't be good everywhere on this racetrack, or can you?
We always hear the drivers talk about compromise, and that's because turn 1 is 14 degrees, banking super fast. How you approach and get through that corner is completely different than that flat 8-degree banking in the back of the tunnel turn. Then that flat turn 3, which is 6 degrees, takes a different type of driving style. It takes a different approach. It takes a lot of talent to try to manage all 3 of these corners. But I got to have a car that handles good, Larry. So what's the challenge for you crew chiefs?
Well, Jeff, I'm going to make sure you don't have to compromise nothing, because you're right. All 3 of these corners are different. And as a crew chief, it's like walking on a razor blade, trying to make sure that car drives good in all 3 corners and you don't help one corner hurt the other. The other thing I have to make sure is give you good speed on short runs and long runs. Yeah, back in our day, you could probably give up one corner, but I almost promise you guys, the driver that goes to victory lane today, he'll talk about how good his car drove in all 3 corners.
Wow, that's a tall order, Larry. Last week, Martin Truex Jr., who won this race last year, won last week in Charlotte after bouncing off the wall. A car he thought was all done, and here they are. Since June 2015 at Pocono. Look at his numbers. Nothing short of spectacular. So let's dial him up.
Absolutely. Martin Truex Jr., Jeff, the guys up in the Fox Sports booth. You got me?
Yeah, I got you, Jeff.
Man, you guys are just red hot. Winning last week, 2 of the last 3 races I think you've won. I mean, it's been incredible. You won this race a year ago. But, man, I've seen a completely different type of race car with all the downforce and the horsepower. What are you going to be challenged with, and how much different is this race going to be for you today?
I think it's going to be a lot different than what we've seen here in the past. Once we get single filed out, I think it's going to be difficult to make moves. So that's going to be the key is, how good are you on the long run, and can you make passes, because of that. So we'll just see. I think the restarts, everybody's kind of anxious to see what happens there. I think it's going to be pretty wild. Those guys start getting side by side in front of you, you're just going to get a huge run. So restarts will be crazy, have to manage that, and then hopefully have good pit stops and see what we can do here.
All right, well, you said we talked to Cole Pern, the crew chief, and see what he thinks about today's race. Hey, Cole Pern, it's DW here, buddy. You got me?
Yeah, I got you, DW.
All right, well, qualifying doesn't always go that great, but you guys really seem to have a great race package. So, and it's a compromised racetrack, as you well know. What do you really focus on getting a car ready for this race, Cole?
To win, you got to be good in all the corners. Obviously the guy that's going to be the best is going to be able to do that. So hopefully we can. And yeah, we didn't make a mock run on Friday, and it didn't really go that great yesterday. But hopefully we can recover well today.
All right, buddy. Well, I know you probably got a real strategy laid up, and we'll be watching. Good luck.
Thanks, DW.
think he wants to get this done so he can watch the Stanley Cup Finals.
Ooh,
but
yeah.
hey, the sun is out, and that's great news for our trio on pit road. Jamie Little.
Yes, it is beautiful right now, Mike. Well, 21-year-old William Byron is on the pole for the third time this year, and he credits his confidence here at Pocono with the Truck Series run he had back in 2016. He was driving for Kyle Busch Motorsports, and he went to victory lane. Well, he says that the new package with these Cup cars feels very similar to the truck. He's confident today could be win number 1. Vince Welch.
Well, while his Joe Gibbs teammates have won 8 of 13 races this season, Eric Jones is winless outside the playoff picture and coming off a DNF. So why are they confident here at Pocono? Because when they run well and execute, they're a top 5 team, and they've proven it. If they can have a clean day today, no self-inflicted wounds, don't be surprised when Eric Jones is contending with his teammates to join them as 2019 winners. Matt Yoakum?
Vince directly in his mirror is his teammate Denny Hamlin. Impressive momentum to start out the year with wins at Daytona and Texas. But the past 4 races, he's stumbled. His average finish is 23rd. But he comes to Pocono looking for a rebound. 4 trophies from Pocono already sit in his trophy case. They got over their steering box issues on Friday, qualified P6, and with an extra 5 laps of fuel mileage in the tank with this package, Chris Gabehart, his crew chief up on the box, he can work the computer even more, looking at different strategies to put that 11 in victory lane, Mike.
Thanks, Matt. Let's look at how today's race breaks down. 400 miles, stages of 50 and 60 laps. The race is official at the end of stage 2. That's after 100 laps. Pit road speed of 55, fuel window 38 to 42. Grip level right in the middle of our scale of 1 to 5. And a competition caution to lap 20. You cannot fuel before the competition caution. That's because of overnight rains. J.J. Yaley spun on his qualifying laps. They had to work on the car after qualifying. Being an impound race, he will go to the rear, as will Matt DiBenedetto, who lost an engine in the first round of practice. So after 13 races, here's where we stand. Drivers in yellow in the win column. Kevin Harvick continues to lead those who have not won. Look at Alex Bowman up into the top 10 after those 3 straight second-place finishes, and then a top 10 in Charlotte. But it's page 2 where things get really interesting, because the cut line now is right below Kyle Larson with a mere 2 points ahead of Eric Jones as far as making it into the playoffs without a win. We listened in on Brad Keselowski as they got ready.
Good one down there, gentlemen. Done a great job here. This is another solid car. Good starting spot. It's a good day on pit road, and I'll do the best I can to execute for you. See if we can get a 4th win this year. You know the strategy. It's going to flip-flop some, so we'll do our best.
.160 laps the distance. High overcast, sun poking through from time to time. Threat of rain between 4 and 5 p.m. will create quite an immediacy in the final stage.
Well, there's already nervous moments for all these drivers, especially those on the front row. They're going to get that long launch down this front straightaway, build up a lot of speed into that, a little bit of a braking zone into turn 1, and have no idea what kind of grip level there's going to be in these Goodyear tires.
Yeah, we talk about how many cars are going to get, how wide they're going to get down this front straightaway, but you got to funnel down to a couple of cars to get into turn 2, or you're in big trouble. But right now, one of my favorite parts of the race, one of the most exciting moments of the race, when that green flag goes in the air and we go, boogity, 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 ooh, let's go racing, boys!
Goodbye, 3/4. You're cool. Goodbye, 1. Going to go by, opening behind you. No help, you're good. You're clear. Clear, clear, clear. No pressure, side by side, pull it to 2/4, 42. Nothing behind him. Just a 42, 3 back to 2 wide. Clear.
William Byron, last year's Rookie of the Year. Yesterday's pole sitter with a handy lead over Kyle Busch and Eric Jones as they come past the stripe.
And Mike, you'll kind of serpentine down this front straightaway, trying to break the draft behind you a little bit. You go low, go high.
4 wide going
Check
into turn 1.
Wow, I love it. I knew it'd be this way.
Well, I was a little surprised. They minded their P's and Q's there on that initial start. We saw where Ryan Blaney had some issues and got shuffled back. Otherwise, they were pretty calm, but this time they come by there 4 wide.
Yeah, Ryan Newman moved Blaney coming to green, got him all out of shape, and he lost a bit of momentum and some spots. Blaney falling 10 positions.
Well, we'll have to see on future restarts, but we saw where William Byron chose that outside lane, and I think it's a smart move as they're 3 wide coming out of the tunnel turn. But I like that move because you can block the wall and you don't have to worry about those cars that are getting 3 and 4 wide to the inside of you.
Yeah, Blaney, he took a beating on that restart.
Eric Jones coming after his teammate Kyle Busch.
That Jones boy, he's looking pretty good today.
I got to tell you, I'm pretty surprised based on practice and what we've seen out of this 18 team lately. I didn't know if we'd see anybody pass him today.
Let's go back to lap 2. Not the start of the race, but on the second lap, something else happens to Ryan Blaney, the yellow and green car to the right.
Ty Dillon behind him. There's a little bit of contact there.
A piece of the bodywork, because it was that greenish yellow color, so I think it's a piece of the bodywork. Yeah, you see a chunk
right there from the rear bumper.
The bumper.
That bit of contact. There might have been some contact from the 6 and Newman on the original start, and then Ty Dillon made a little more contact and broke that piece off. I'm not so sure that's going to hurt him, though. That might actually help.
It'll help. Let some air out from under that baby.
Look at his teammate Joey Logano moving up, making moves to the inside. Logano started 16th. He is up now to 11th after this pass, 10th now after this pass of Austin Dillon.
Logano had such a great finish last week, Mike. Come home second in the 600. I think that's a lot of momentum. You don't think a team like that, momentum means a lot, but it means everything. Come in here with a good finish last week, maybe back it up with another one today.
He's gained 6 positions in 3 laps.
Impound qualifying, so this is basically the way that they qualified. But trying to get the balance is really tricky when you get into this race and you pull that tape off the grill. You want the car to be free and build tight throughout this run to be good on the long run. But boy, we've seen where you can get in a lot of trouble early on by having the car too loose.
Let's go back to the wave of the green flag, which is where Ryan Blaney's troubles started. There's Blaney, top of your screen.
You can see he's trying to get a run, but Newman just did an excellent job of getting up to speed, or maybe his car just accelerates a little bit better. And as the 12 tried to block him, they made a little bit of contact.
Yeah, the 6 just anticipated that start a whole lot better than Blaney and the 12 did. Just a little bit quicker on the throttle. Got into the back of the 12 a teeny bit.
Something else. I don't know if everybody's doing first gear starts, but it almost looked to me like Ryan Blaney was in second gear there trying to get momentum, and the 6 car had a better launch and maybe a first gear restart.
Fox visor cam riding along on Chase Elliott's helmet.
And we saw Kevin Harvick make a move on him. It looks like he's a little bit tight off this final turn. That's something they're going to have to work on. You have to rotate and roll through turn 3 well to go fast and make passes.
Mike, I know we see a lot of great shots looking out the windshield, but I love watching the hands. It tells you so much about that car. How much he fights that wheel, turning left, turning right, tells you a lot about the car.
Well, the place that takes my breath away is the tunnel turn, that 97-degree turn number 2.
You can see him making some comments to his team. He's talking on the radio.
Hey, Mike, it's taken my breath away a couple of times, too. That's a tough turn right there, brother. One of the most dangerous in racing, I think.
Left front up on that apron, trying to get that car to rotate, use as much room of the racetrack.
Denny Hamlin wearing a Fox visor cam on the right of your screen.
Again, and I like to watch the hands, folks. Just watch Hamlin's hands, watch watch Hamlin on the right, Elliott on the left, and watch the difference in how they just work the wheel. It just tells you a lot about what their cars are doing.
Well, I saw the last time into turn 1, Chase Elliott's a little bit free getting down in the corner, seems to be a little tighter on the exit. Brad Keselowski making up some ground on the 11 of Denny Hamlin.
Hamlin in 5th. Keselowski in 6th. They started in just the reverse of those spots.
I think this is where it's, we got Kevin Harvick making another move. Got a fast race car. This is for 11th place on Austin Dillon. But that tunnel turn, I think, is going to be really challenging. You've got so much grip. You carry so much speed through the center there. But if you're too close to that car in front of you, you're going to lose all that clean air on the exit and can very easily get the right side of the wall.
And Mike, one thing is so different for these drivers, they're having to adjust to it. They're not able to shift gears this year. Last year, you might shift out of the tunnel turn down here going into turn 1. You did quite a bit of shifting around this racetrack like a road course. But this year, it's not possible with the ratios and the engine package that we have.
The other thing, Jeff, that they're not able to do this year is adjust that rear sway bar from the cockpit.
Yeah, the track bar mount, it used to have an adjustable motorized adjuster inside that they could control that. So if you had a loose race car at the beginning, you could drop that track bar down to tighten the car up, and then as the car loses its fuel load and gets tighter, you can raise that track bar. They don't have that luxury this year.
And guys, if you remember at the top of the show, I talked about walking on a razor blade as a crew chief, having to adjust this race car. That puts even more load on the shoulders of the crew chief because the driver does not have that. I talked to a lot of drivers, talked to Jamie McMurray in the pre-race, and he said because these cars are so loose at the beginning of a run that they would run that track bar way down, and on the end of a run would start raising it to start freeing the car up as it would get tighter.
Now, Larry, I hear you say that's a razor's edge for a crew chief, but when you're sitting behind the wheel of that car that's on a razor's edge, that's a handful.
You know,
I'm riding every lap with you, pal.
Speaking of a handful, just look how far the steering wheel is away from Paul Menard. Normally it's right up against your chest. Jamie.
Yeah, and Paul Menard in the 21, a little bit loose in turn 2, but his biggest complaint right now is he has a vibration. You could see it right there on the shifter vibrating quite a bit. He said it's really not getting worse, but it's definitely not going away. They're keeping an eye on that.
This place is pretty notorious for having these driveline vibrations, these long straightaways especially. I mean, this could be a loose wheel. Normally we don't see that at the start of the race, but sometimes they'll misalign that wheel as they do the lug nuts and do the how they tighten those, and that really can cause the vibration. But I think that might be a driveline vibration.
William Byron leading his 4th straight race, this time from the pole. Here comes Charlotte, North Carolina's William Byron leading the field in his Chevrolet. And Byron, Michigan's Eric Jones running second in a Toyota. Kyle Busch third, then Clint Boyer is the first Ford. In fourth, ahead of Denny Hamlin and Brad Keselowski.
You know, Mike, I think we know we're going to have a caution here at 20 laps. I'm sure a lot of these guys are just thinking, okay, I'm going to run this 20 laps out and get some good feedback to my crew chief, make some adjustments to my car, and then I'll be ready to go when we go back to racing.
Well, we had pretty heavy rain last night, so this track is laying rubber. I expect the shift and the balance of these cars to change quite a bit, so you need a crew chief like Chad Knaus, or a crew chief with a lot of experience that knows what direction it's going to go.
Yeah, I mean, right now you might be way too tight. You're going to take a little wedge out or an air pressure adjustment. You might be loose, whatever it might take.
What's Denny Hamlin's team thinking, Matt?
Mike, going into turn one, Denny Hamlin, that was his money corner in practice, but now he's loose on entry and he's losing grip on exit. The car just sliding the nose. He too can't wait for that competition caution.
7 laps away is that competition yellow, Larry.
There's a battle for 17th. The 17 of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. against Alex Bowman. And Chris Buescher, man, what an impressive run he had last week. That's got to build the confidence of that race team.
I just think Buescher is just getting better and better. I think that team with Trent Owen as crew chief and him, I just think they're really clicking.
And he knows what it takes to win here at Pocono. Remember, he's won here before.
Yes, sir.
Let's go all the way back to 28th. Kurt Busch running 7 spots back of where he started in the Chip Ganassi #1.
And what he's talking about on lap 5, Kurt reported the team asking if he possibly might have had an air pressure change in the right rear to start the race, because if they didn't, he feels like he's got a right rear with a slow leak. They told him they did adjust the pressure. He says that sensation is still there. It feels like it's starting to go flat, but they told him let's try to make it to the break, because at this juncture, we'll go a lap down.
Well, it's a pretty serious problem. We saw he just waved 2 cars by. I mean, he is not at full speed and very concerned with what's happening in that right rear.
Yeah, but he's just trying to hang on here to get to this 20-lap break.
Was fast in practice, had an issue in qualifying. Corey LaJoie coming off a 12th place finish last week in Charlotte, tying his career best and giving that small team quite a boost.
A finish like that, I mean, what that does for a race team, not just to help them continue to fund this program, but just the confidence that it builds in the driver, the team of, hey, we're doing the right things, guys. We can get these good finishes if we execute properly.
Yeah, Jeff, I think it's a confidence booster, particularly for the driver. You know, Coy doesn't have a lot of experience, hadn't been in this series a long time. I think it really helps him and his desire to make a name for himself.
But he said during practice he started looking at the SMT data where all of the other drivers were letting off and getting back on the gas, and he tried some of that, and he figured he'd just turn the computer off last night and get a good night's sleep.
Yeah, you got to be driving their race car to know why they're able to do some of that.
Byron, Jones, Busch, Boyer, and Hamlin. We'll take you back through the field a bit here with 13 laps to the competition yellow. Vince.
Well, Eric Jones just says he's a little too loose to hustle it like he'd like to, but his team told him just a moment ago, even the way it is, you were still the fastest on the track that previous lap. So they're trying to get him to work on his entrance to turn 1. Right there is where he's losing a little bit of time.
Behind him, Kyle Busch, who's won 2 of the last 3 races here at Pocono, and today had his best start of the season, second. Clint Boyer, the highest qualified and currently highest running Ford in the field. His Mustang is 4th. Denny Hamlin going past the lap car of Quinn Houff. Hamlin won both races here his rookie year from the pole. Brad Keselowski won here in 2011. And here comes the other Kyle Larson.
All that was created by a lap car. We saw the 77 car kind of slow these guys down, and that allowed the 42 of Larson to keep his momentum up and get to the rear bumper of the 2 car, make that pass. Good job there.
Back in 8th, Jimmy Johnson, 3-time Pocono winner.
Jimmy's got a pretty solid car today, Mike. He qualified pretty well. He's running in the top 10 right now. Could be a good day for Jimmy.
Daniel Suarez, runner-up here last July. One of the bright spots of his season.
I like Suarez. I think he's a great young talent. Just needs to close the deal a few more times to make himself a superstar.
Here's a guy that knows how to close the deal, our defending champion, Joey Logano, in that Shell Pennzoil Ford.
Now, Kevin Harvick had faded a spot or two, but he's right back up where he started this race in 11th position in his Mustang. 2 to go to the competition caution.
Yeah, Mike, again, I think these guys in this first 20 laps here, with the no rubber on the track, not able to shift, by the way, don't forget. I think they're just analyzing their car right now. I think we'll see some different cars up front when we get to this break.
Austin Dillon in 12th, and our visor cam riding with Chase Elliott, whose dad has 5 victories at Pocono. Bill Elliott.
I like Bill Elliott's car here back in the day. It handled on the straightaway.
Sure did. Eric Almirola in 14th for Stuart Haas, and then Martin Truex up 5 positions from where he started for Joe Gibbs Racing and Toyota. Paul Menard in 16th. In the first couple of laps, we thought he might have an issue, but he's running within 2 spots of where he started right now.
You activating Operation Trout? No, I don't think so. Think we're going to do that thing we talked about, or we're too far back? No, we are too far back. We're right there at the limit right now, and we're going to go to 20 here.
Yeah, these teams know exactly how far back from the leader you can come down pit road, like we see the 4 car of Kevin Harvick right here, and not lose a lap before this caution comes out.
I like this strategy. Come in now, get your tires, get back out. You might find yourself in the lead when they get everybody else gets finished.
Well, not going to be up take 4, Jamie.
And Kevin Harvick just saying that his car was really tight. That run brought it in. Let's see what the call is here. I heard Rodney Childers called for 4, and there it is. 4 tires stopped for Kevin Harvick.
And note, Jamie, they are not fueling the car. That's because NASCAR says you cannot add fuel until the competition caution. Larry.
All right, what they'll do is they'll come and get fuel only, but because of where they were pitting almost all the way down near the end of pit road, he only had to beat William Byron to that pit outline. So this was like the perfect storm for the 4 car. Get your 4 tires now. When they open pit road after this caution, they'll do fuel only. They may be leading this race when all this is said and done.
But Larry, just think about how risky that was to take 4 tires. I didn't think they would do it, because if they missed any piece of the synchrony on that pit stop, he's going to go a lap down. But they did it well.
I think he was just stuck. He wasn't going anywhere, and he felt like he had to do something to get out of, he started running about where he started. So I think he just needed to do something different.
So he came in 11th. He's currently 28th. We'll see where he cycles to after caution flag pit stops. But you got to admire his crew chief, Rodney Childers, because he's always trying something.
And no risk, no gain.
Going to be a very crowded pit road. There's Rodney, former late model racer, and he's guided Kevin Harvick these last few seasons with great success.
And Mike, he was a very good late model racer too. He won some races. Good mechanic, good crew chief.
Well, this could be a crowded house right here, because we have 33 cars on the lead lap.
Luckily, these are nice big pit stalls, so it's not like if this were to happen at Martinsville or Bristol, but still, anything, a car coming around you late, if you decide to do 2 tires, you've got to really be careful and protect those fenders.
Yeah, quite honestly, Jeff, I'm surprised more people didn't do what Kevin Harvick did, because I thought it could possibly pay off.
Pit road is going to be busy. Vince.
Waiting on Eric Jones to come down in his 20 car, and he started out 2 numbers loose everywhere, especially turn 1. They're going to try to help him with his landing on exit of the turn as well. It's going to be a 4-tire change, air pressure for the 20 of Eric Jones. Matt?
Kyle Larson already hit his box. They were debating 2 tires. Meanwhile, Denny Hamlin already in. They're going to go 4 on the 11. His car was loose in turn 1, loose down in turn 2, the tunnel turn, Jamie.
Kyle Busch breaking down each turn, says he's sensitive over the bumps. Turn 2 is good. Turn 3, though, is where he wants to focus. Tight, the 24 William Byron. 4 tires and fuel, a little bit free. It's center of 1 and 3.
A lot of those 2-tire cars coming out first. Now there's William Byron. And behind him, Clint Boyer, and the blue car comes in top of your screen. That's Harvick.
And just gets fuel only, as Larry mentioned. This was definitely a net gain overall, even with those other cars that took 2 tires.
And there's the race off pit road. 2 tires, 4 tires, no tires. Wow. Getting ready for the restart. 1 caution flag, the competition yellow. Landon Castle was the race leader, but he had to pit with some difficulty on the left front. He's still on the lead lap now. J.J. Yaley got the free pass. Here they come to the widest front straightaway in NASCAR. Into the restart zone and back under green.
Ryan Blaney this time going to be the one to take advantage of that draft down the front straightaway.
Much better restart for Blaney this time.
Not a great restart for Kyle Busch there on the outside.
Backing way up. Kyle in 12th, restarted 10th.
There's a guy that's sitting in the catbird seat. I mean, the 4 car with 4 tires.
3 wide. 2 wide with 22 outside. He's got time to be clear up behind with Phoenix, clear up.
So that 2-stop strategy for Harvick was a net gain of 2 positions. But he came in 11th, He's now 9th.
Yeah, Mike, sorry, I didn't mean to step on you, but an even bigger net gain because he's going to drive by a lot of these guys that took 2 tires.
He restarted 9th, I should have said. He's up to 6th. He's coming.
Yeah, those 2 tires made it look like that he didn't, you know, that wasn't a great plan, but it really and truly it's going to work out perfect for Kevin Harvick.
Yeah, absolutely. William Byron, the 24, took 4 tires. The 20 of Eric Jones, who didn't have a great restart, but he also has 4 tires.
A little busy off turn 1 there.
Got to make hay while you can. Big run coming. You get the 4 pushing the 22, the 22 pushing the 24. All trying to get to the rear bumper of Suarez.
That pushing's all right as long as push doesn't come to shove, and it works pretty good.
These 2 tires working good out there in front for the 42 of Larson with clean air. And not to mention, you're not in this big mess happening back here on the right of our screen.
Yeah, I think with this aero package, engine package, being out front, clean air, run your own line, doing your own thing, got to be a big advantage.
Chase Elliott's visor cam on the right. He's locked in a battle. Back in 19th place.
Whoa, whoa. Pretty loose over that bump as he's trying to pass the 6 of Newman.
Yeah, that's what Newman said. He's pretty loose over that bump.
Seeing just an occasional drop or 2 on the lens of our roof cams. One dark cloud floating past. No problems. You know, Kyle Busch rebounded. He went from 10th to 12th on the break, and now has climbed back up to 8th place.
I was going to say, Mike, we watched during practice and even qualifying. Some of the guys were able to go over the tunnel turn and not lift. Seem to be able to get across there wide open. I don't believe they're doing that today. I believe they're having to get out of the throttle a little bit, and that's what's causing this separation. Because this engine package just doesn't have the recovery time that if you had 750 horsepower. Here you get out of the gas, you pay the price.
See Keselowski inching closer and closer to the rear bumper of the 42 of Kyle Larson. But like you said, Darrell, through this tunnel turn, he's got to back off a little bit, and maybe the 42 doesn't in clean air, but that car trailing, no doubt he cannot run wide open.
Vince?
You know, it's interesting with these long straightaways, you'd think these cars would really suck up, but Keselowski made the comment in practice, and he just made it again to his crew chief, Paul Wolfe. It's amazing how little draft he feels. He doesn't feel like the car is sucking up in the draft at all when he's behind someone like you think it might.
Yeah, Vince, it looks to me like you need a partner to make that happen. You need 2 or 3 cars behind you to help take the air off of your spoiler and give you that push to be able to take advantage of the draft of the car in front of you.
3rd place battle for more on Daniel Suarez. Here's Matt.
And Jeff, think back before you won your first race. There were places that you went to and you had good success the previous visit. That's where Daniel Suarez nearly walked away with a win here last July, finishing 2nd. He says the car just kept getting freer and freer during that first run, especially on landing. Slight air pressure change. Right sides help keep him track position up front.
Yeah, Matt, he's got track position, and those right side tires might tighten the car
Whoa,
a
turn
bit.
3, car in the wall. It is Austin Dillon.
I think
there were a pack of cars all but touching, coming single file into that corner, and then they went double file, and this was the result.
Yeah, they got all wadded up over the tunnel, Mike, and they were just all over the top of each other as they got down there to turn 3, and the 3 car paid the price.
Jimmy Johnson and Paul Menard appear to have been involved in this one. Here's a look at it. Johnson in the 48.
Oh, you can see the 3 of Austin Dillon tries to thread the needle and go to the bottom. He sees an opportunity, but Paul Menard, I think he was just too close, and they just made contact and put the 3 up into the wall. I think this is going to be something we see more and more of, especially after a restart. Like you said, Darrell, they're going to get sort of bottled up coming out of the tunnel turn, and that's going to create some opportunities.
We're going to ride with Denny Hamlin. I'm not seeing contact prior to Dillon getting on the brake hard and the car shooting up to the wall.
little. I think there's definitely a little contact right there at the end.
A little kiss.
But I wouldn't be surprised if he was a little loose before that happened. Yeah,
he gets a little kiss right here.
Yeah, he started to go a little sideways and didn't take much. He saved the car. Unfortunately, the wall came up before he could save it.
Let's put those walls so close to the track.
I always wish they were about another 20, 30 feet further.
Or maybe in Scranton.
Yeah.
Second caution of the day, lap 30. Hard hit for Austin Dillon. All right, here's another look. Dillon closing fast on Johnson. Stabs the brake, and right there.
I just don't know if there's much that the 21 of Paul Menard could do there.
Nope. Well, here's what Paul Menard had to say.
Yeah, you just stopped in front of me. My bad. I got him.
Okay.
I wasn't sure what the 11 was doing.
You know, Paul, that's pretty typical Paul. He really kind of takes it on himself many times in those kinds of incidences, but you know, I just don't know if there's much he could have done there. The 3 definitely filled that hole in a split second that there wasn't really any time to react.
Yeah, I think the 3 was looking at the 48, trying to get position on him, didn't realize maybe how close he was to Menard and cut down just a little wee bit, and they made contact.
Austin Dillon climbs out. 20 laps to go in stage 1. They were just on pit road 10 laps ago. Kyle Larson, who'd led only 1 lap since Atlanta, is your leader. This Father's Day, Busch Beer is celebrating dads and dad jokes with a contest to send one lucky dad alongside his son or daughter to get behind the wheel of a real stock car on Daytona International Speedway. Tweet your best dad joke to @BuschBeer. Use hashtag #DadToDaytona and hashtag contest to enter during the race today. During our production meeting, we tried out our best dad jokes, and we're going to spare you.
I don't really have any good dad jokes, but I will say the rotation of the earth really makes my day.
Why?
Here we go. I wonder when it was going to start. And it has started.
Long walk for the 3 crew of Austin Dillon. That car badly damaged in turn 3. We go back to green at lap 33. Kyle Larson and Brad Keselowski up front.
Oh, we're fanning out here a little bit.
They're getting a little more confident.
Whoa, William Byron. Oh, I get it. 24 hours in a day. The rotation. I get it.
Just now got that.
Yeah. I was concentrating on the race. Excuse me. Joey Logano pops out.
Well, they're slicing and dicing when they're all bunched up like this.
Oh boy, Joey Logano, both left side tires down the apron. That's not going to work. The 18 of Kyle Busch almost got the wall in the exit.
All these drivers know the same thing we do. When you got them all bunched up like this, you got to get as many of them as you can, any way you can.
Well, hasn't that always been the way you raced at Pocono?
Sure.
Pass them on the restarts.
Because once you get going, you get strung out. It's just hard to make up time on the guy.
And that's why every restart we'll see today, they'll get more and more aggressive with these moves.
Well, we just saw on that restart, you know, the initial start, they weren't 3 or 4 wide going into turn 1. That one they were. The next one they'll be 5 wide. You kind of got to feel it out.
Reed Sorensen was the free pass on that caution, and on the earlier caution, Matt Tifft was too fast entering pit road, had restart at the back. He's currently 33rd.
And Mike, with this engine package, you know, and not being able to shift, it's a different combination than we've run here before. So you're going to experiment off turn 3 about these restarts and how to drive your car around this big old racetrack.
Here's a similar move to what we saw cause that incident with the 3 of Austin Dillon and 21 Paul Menard. But as you come through the tunnel turn, if you don't carry the momentum, it's going to allow somebody behind you to get a big run. Here's a battle for 5th place.
You know, Suarez he's hanging in there today, guys. Got a pretty good car.
Martin Truex went all the way down to the paint to pass Ricky Stenhouse.
I was going to say, when is this rivalry going to heat up between the 19 and that 18? Well, Martin Truex Jr. just made 2 passes there in 1 corner.
Ricky Stenhouse had a great night in Charlotte last Sunday.
He really did, Mike. I think that 17 and the 6 both have just gotten so much better as we've gone into the year.
Boy, those 2 tires on the 48 of Jimmy Johnson just not paying off right now. He's in the grasp of those guys with 4 tires. How about that 17, Vince?
Yeah, he was complaining of not having enough front turn before that previous stop, so they made an adjustment to help them there. You know, they were really optimistic. Their practice was the best that they've had together here at Pocono, providing a lot of optimism despite a disappointing qualifying effort. But they really felt like they had an opportunity today to back up that strong finish last week at the 600.
And what they're talking about, Mike, when they talk about the front won't turn or the back, it's balance of the car. You got the splitter on the front, but you got that great big spoiler on the back, and so you got to get that car's attitude just right to get those front tires digging into the track so the car will turn.
Yeah, every driver has a different way of describing what they need, but it's basically just front grip.
Chase Elliott behind Denny Hamlin, 13th place at stake here.
And you heard it. You heard Chase go across the tunnel, had to feather the throttle a little bit to make it across there.
Hamlin makes the pass and got a run after Elliott got loose down in turn 1.
Well, we saw his hands showing the car was pretty loose earlier. He tries to go high to get some clean air, but ran wide off of turn 1, and that he had to check up. And if you check up with 550 horsepower and all that drag, they're going to get a big run like Denny Hamlin did.
Yeah, I think that car was loose, and he just didn't want to turn the wheel. He just kind of let it go up the racetrack, so he didn't have to turn the wheel.
All right, let's go back toward the care center. Here's Vince.
With Austin Dillon, and certainly a frustrating finish. What happened? Did the 21 get into the back of you? It's hard to tell from the replay.
Yeah, he did. I don't know. That's disappointing. We had a pretty decent car, and the car skilled, and 21 hit us. You can see everybody's piled up in there. He drove in too deep, missed the corner, hit me in the back, took me out of the race. So, part of it.
Well, there's always, well, I know you say 3 sides, but we know there's 2 sides to that story.
But he'd make a really good analyst on TV because he broke it right down.
But it's very disappointing to be out of the race this early.
We saw Joey Logano get wide, similar to what happened with Chase Elliott moments ago. Is his teammate going to get that run just like Denny Hamlin did? I think he will.
Hey, we got quite a battle for Rookie of the Year, and I don't just mean for the season. I mean right here, right now. Daniel Hemrick and Ryan Preece getting after it. Hemrick in the 8, Preece in the 47.
Yeah, this is back in 20th, 21st position.
Yikes. Ooh. A little loose there.
That's as close as it's going to get.
And now Ty Dillon in the 13. Did he slap the wall there?
Yeah, he did.
He did, definitely. There's going to be some right rear damage. He's going to have to keep an eye on that right rear tire going down. But that's exactly what I was talking about. If you get too close coming through the tunnel turn, you're going to run wide. You're not going to have enough air on the car to hold it in its lane. And that's exactly what happened to Ty Dillon.
Yeah, I think that 13 car's got a lot of damage on the right side. I wouldn't push it too far because you'll cut a tire down.
Tough day early for both Dillon brothers. Kyle Larson is your leader. It's here and it's available today at your local Chevy dealer. The all-new Silverado. The strongest, most advanced Silverado ever. 8 laps to go to the end of stage 1. Kyle Larson, our all-star race winner 2 weeks ago, out in front. He's led half the laps so far. He's had an eventful week, and boy, does he have a rivalry with Christopher Bell. Not here, but on the dirt.
Well, he sure does. Here's some sprint car action. Earlier in the year at Chili Bowl in a midget, Christopher Bell got the best of Kyle Larson, but right here, see the 57 of Larson runs wide, and Christopher Bell gets up into the loose stuff and goes over. And Larson goes on to win and celebrate with that checkered flag waving by his son Owen.
They had a heck of a race last night in Nashville, Tennessee, too, over at the fairgrounds. World of Outlaws.
On dirt at the fairgrounds.
And Tony Stewart finished 4th in that race.
Wow. A heck of a crowd. It was a sold-out crowd. It was unbelievable. I saw some photos from there. It was really fun to see them have that kind of success at that track.
And I heard it was a heck of a race. I do want to say quick congratulations, Shane Stewart, for winning that race.
Yes. Chase Elliott 14th, and Truex and Bowman. Now Elliott's up 5 from where he restarted, but Truex and Bowman are pinned right about where they took the green flag on the restart.
Yeah, these guys that took 4 tires but lost some track position, they just haven't been able to make it up. It seems like on the restart, maybe a few, but the guys that really benefited from this were those guys that took 2 tires but were up in the first row or 2. And then guys like the 24, guys like the 4 car, these guys that took 4 tires, I think it's going to work out for them in the long run. What do you think, Larry?
Well, the biggest thing I'm watching, you see right here, there's 6 to go in this stage. And the scenario, as long as you're about 10 to 11 seconds behind the leader, you can pit here, make a 4-tire green flag stop, as we saw Kevin Harvick do before that competition caution, stay on the lead lap. I don't think drivers in the top 10 will give up stage points, but I look at drivers like Denny Hamlin in the 11, 8.5 seconds back. Chase Elliott. They're going to close pit road with 2 to go, but if I'm them, I may be thinking about when I see 3 to go, which is 2 laps from now, come get the 4 tires, you can fuel it, and you'll be at the front when we go back restart after the stage.
Yeah, I think Kevin Harvick's a good example of that. He's running in 4th place. He was mired back in 10th, 12th place before they pulled that strategy. So I really like that idea. That'd be what I'd be thinking.
So to Larry's point, everybody back through Martin Truex in 15th should be able to come in for 4 tires under green and not lose a lap.
And the biggest difference now, before that competition caution, they could not fuel. They could put fuel in that car now.
Well, Harvick made the most of that strategy. Restarted 5th, running 4th. The highest car on the restart with 4 tires.
And back to Larry's point, track position seems to be so important. That's the game that's going to start being played. What can we do to get track position? And he nailed it. There's going to be some guys that are maybe outside that top 10 or maybe even 8th on back. They're going to take advantage of that.
Guys, it has to happen this lap because they're going to close it with 2 to go, and if you're too far behind the leader, pit road will close before you get there.
Yeah, Larry, I don't think I'd be risking one more lap because that means you'd have to hit it before that leader hit the start-finish line. I don't see that happening, but here comes the 18 and Kyle Busch.
He's going to pit from 5th place.
Comes a bunch of others.
Boyer's in, Eric Jones, Chase Elliott, and Hamlin. Vince.
Eric Jones coming to the pit lane, and he once again will get a 4-tire change and fuel as well. Jones has been pretty happy with the car, but back in traffic, certainly much more to handle, Matt.
Chase Elliott comes to a stop. Denny Hamlin's also in. They were told not to slide the tires on the 11 because they were going to go right sides. Jamie.
Kyle Busch in the 18, 2-time winner here. Car is pretty decent right now. Hasn't changed a whole lot now that there's cloud cover 4 tires and air pressure.
Like a little extra time on the left front for Kyle Busch, but here they come off pit road, and it'll be 2 laps to go. Here comes your leader, Kyle Larson, out of turn 3. Pits are closed, so the challenge is for these drivers coming off pit road to get up to speed and stay on the lead lap.
And we already know with this much drag with that big spoiler and 550 horsepower, it takes longer to get that car completely up to speed. But I think they timed it perfectly. And The 9-car Chase Elliott was the last car that could pull off this strategy.
Only one car is a lap down Quinn Houff, so if Larson is able to get past one of these drivers, they would get the free pass. Long way back to our leader, looking back from Chase Elliott.
Yeah, he's the last one of that group that pitted, and you can't see the leader, so I think he's in pretty good shape.
This is what I love so much about Pocono. Even though track position is important and a little bit tough to pass, but the strategy, you've got to be a chess player there on pit road. And then the driver's got to be able to take that strategy and make something out of it. So they've got to do their job too. And the pit crew's got to do their job to execute it.
Final lap, stage 1.
Yeah, Jeff, I think we're talking about track position. And so the crew chief's got to figure out how to get it. He's also, then the crew's got to make sure they have a flawless pit stop.
6th place. Ryan Blaney going for it. Completes the pass just before the tunnel turn.
These guys are going to be real happy. They're going to see that checkered flag in this final or this stage, and then they're going to find out all those guys that are going to be ahead of them on the restart.
Kyle Larson picks up his 2nd stage win of 2019 and his first since stage 1 at Atlanta. And it appears that all the drivers that came in under green for tires will be able to stay on the lead lap as stage 1 is completed. The FIFA Women's World Cup kicks off in just 5 days. All eyes will be on America's U.S. national team. The defending champs head to France, trying to win an historic 4th World Cup. And all the matches are live here on FS1 and on Fox. Tune in and enjoy. What was the name of your French scientist in pre-race, Larry?
Palatiti Lala.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be at the World Cup with Fox.
It could be Pierre Debris.
Quinn Houff gets the free pass. He is the one and only car 1 lap down. Now, some of our Fox folks have been getting ready for the World Cup, led by Coach DW.
Well, he needs a good coach.
All right, Lil, it's a free kick. You make it, we win the World Cup.
All right.
Yes, all right. No.
Family program.
Calm down, girl. Calm down. It's okay. Good job.
Boy, you know, being a coach is not easy.
No, despite our best efforts, the World Cup is coming to Fox this week.
That was a good kick by Jamie, but Regan Smith, we got to talk about your goalie skills.
Anticipation. Kyle Larson is your stage winner from William Byron, Brad Keselowski, Kevin Harvick, and Eric Almirola.
What is
Wrong Way Smith?
I mean, she put the total fake on Regan Smith.
Wow. Got to work on that. I'm going to have a talk with that boy.
Gonna have a talk with that boy.
Got to have a talk with that boy.
You're the coach. Come on, coach.
No, it always falls in the coach's lap. I'll get him. Don't worry. Way now, you talking about a coach. Now there's a coach, a Hall of Fame coach, by the way. Football, yeah, and in racing. And look at that. Look at that little smirk on his face.
It's always there.
I think you know what he's saying. I got these folks right where I want them.
I'd say they're having a pretty good year over there at JGR.
Brad Keselowski stays out. Vince.
Of course he did, Vince.
And you can see the 2-car Keselowski staying out. Kyle Larson trying to give Chip Ganassi his first win here at Pocono. Remember, 2 tires the previous stop. These guys need a solid stop. If all else goes well, they should come out no worse than 6, Jamie. He says the car's a little bit more on the tight side in turn 3.
Kevin Harvick says he feels tighter than he needs to be right now, but his car feels better around other cars. A 4-tire stop to 24 air pressure, 4 tires overall good, except for turn 1. That's where he was losing time.
Thanks, Jamie. William Byron wins the race off pit road. A 2-tire stop for Hemrick. And it looked like Kyle Larson, who lost 3 stops, looked like they had a little delay hanging the right rear tire.
No, but he did win that stage, so let's have a talk to him. Hey, Kyle Larson, jumping the guys up in the Fox Sports booth. You got me?
Side time. Hey, yeah, I got you.
Hey, man, congrats on that stage win. Car looked really good out front there. You know, you took 2 tires. It worked out pretty well. How was the balance, and how's it going to be now that you're in traffic?
Yeah, it was a nice pit call that we made to get that track position and then be out in clean air. It seems pretty close to impossible to pass. Those guys were probably a little bit better behind me, but as long as you don't miss your marks, they can't get by. So it'll be a little different now in traffic, but hopefully we'll be able to capitalize on some mistakes in front of us and get back towards the front.
All right, well, thanks for talking to us, and we're looking forward to those 3 and 4 wide restarts you're going to have some fun at.
Yeah, we'll see.
Brad Keselowski stayed out. Larry Mack will update us on strategy next. Monster Energy brought the Unknown Industries crew to show off tricks of their own here at the Tricky Triangle. These guys hit the pavement and the sky to get fans revved up for the action on and off the track all weekend long. So we have a couple of contraries. Brad Keselowski was 3rd. Martin Truex was 15th, and neither stopped under this caution flag, Larry Mack.
Yeah, what they pitted at lap 22, so they're almost doing it like we do a road course, but right now it's from the end of stage 2 at lap 100. So what they're going to do, they're splitting it into about 39 lap runs. So right here, when you see lap 60, which is about 40 to go, in the stage 2, that's probably when they're going to be on pit road, give or take a lap or two. Remember, the fuel window is about 38 to 42 laps. Everybody's playing it like a road course, knowing track position is everything.
Well, and if everybody's playing it like a road course, those guys that just got fuel and tires only need to do 2 more stops to the end of the race. These guys are going to need 1 more extra.
Pace cars in. Keselowski leads them into the Geico restart zone. Here we go.
Yikes. This is going to get interesting with Bowman and Blaney. Oh, Chase Elliott caught in the middle.
3, Jimmy and Tom. Lawson inside.
Big run for Kyle Busch against the 2 leaders.
Yeah, and these 2 guys are going to get stalled out side by side. Might give an opportunity to the 18 to take him 3 wide. There he goes.
3 bottom. 3.
Can't go into that tunnel turn 3 wide. And wisely, Truex yields.
Well, and it was so smart by Kyle Busch. He saw those 2 were stalled out side by side. He knew that he was going to get a run on them, and boy, he went right on by and took the lead.
That was a 3 wide pass, but he's the only guy I know of that can go 3 wide by himself. He's pretty good at that.
There were 2 penalties under that caution. Ricky Stenhouse and Daniel Suarez were both too fast entering pit road.
Oh, man, they are slicing and dicing back in the pack.
Oh, who's smoking badly?
Yeah, that's Matt Tiff.
I think that car
sorry, that's David Reagan. Sorry, I always get those cars mixed up. I think there may have been some contact between some cars. And the Joy also having an issue.
The Joy and the 32 and the 38 down here of Reagan. I don't know if they must have gotten together. I think they both got a little bit of damage.
Well, first let's look at the pass for the lead and show you how Kyle Busch took advantage of the leaders being double wide here.
Yeah, you had 19 of Truex on the inside in the orange car, the 2, the white and red car.
Caution.
Oh, caution
Matt DiBenedetto's around.
I think I may know who David Reagan made contact with on that restart.
Yeah, you might be right.
4th caution flag of the day. Left rear is down on DiBenedetto.
Yeah, so let's go back and show you this pass for the lead again. This is them coming off of turn 1. As those 2 cars, the 2 car Keselowski on your left, the 19 of Mark Truex Jr., they're going 5 miles an hour slower than that 3rd place car of Kyle Busch, and he knows it. Even though they tried to block it, there's just nothing that they can do to prevent that big run from the 18 of Kyle Busch to come.
And there's the caution, DiBenedetto around.
Yeah, and some damage maybe to the nose of the 1 car, Kurt Busch getting into the back of somebody.
I couldn't see anything from that shot. Didn't look like it was any damage, but there certainly could have been because he did hit the car in front of him.
And hard to say if this has been happening because of a tire going down, but certainly all 4 of those tires are flat now after sliding across the pavement.
Now they've had very little practice time because they lost an engine in the morning practice on Friday, and changing it missed final practice. There's the damage to David Reagan's car. Certainly he
and that
was
looked
involved.
Like wall damage to me, Mike. That was more than just contact with another car.
You know, this gives an opportunity for Brad Keselowski and the 2 and Truex Jr. I mean, we are right there. We're coming to 42 to go in this stage. But honestly, even drivers that pitted right there, if you're at the back especially, come get fuel. You can do it. And you see Truex and Keselowski and Larson both in. Larson probably will be fuel only.
Vince.
Wow, last moment decision for Paul Wolf, the crew chief, for Brad Keselowski to come to pit road. He had already told Keselowski they were going to stay out. Now it's going to be a 4-tire change for Keselowski in the 2. Matt?
And Mike Metcalf Jr. is going to put the can in, engage it. They're going to top off on the 42. Jamie.
Well, Cole Byrne with the call in the 19. They wanted to go 7 to 8 laps before they pitted after that green flag, but then the caution came out. He said, we did not need that. So they come down and they got 4 tires and fuel.
That's where it's so hard being a crew chief, Mike. Got a game plan, and then cautions pop up, and you got to change your game plan.
Sudden moves out on the racetrack and sudden moves to pit road like this one. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Win your battles, earn your name. Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR. Here they come through turn number 3, and they'll be coming to the restart with 40 laps to go in this stage 2. Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, teammates up front.
In line, 1 lane between, in line with 1 lane between.
4 wide. William Byron on the bottom.
Oh, how's that going to work out though when you get down into the corner?
It worked.
It did. They all made it through there somehow. Not over yet though.
Still 3 wide.
They might be 3 wide going into tunnel turn. I can promise you that doesn't work out. Oh, we got one around.
Matt Tift. Caution
You're
waves.
good right here. Doesn't look like contact.
Quickly, that's the 5th caution of the day for Matt Tift.
He was running, I don't know, 27th. Pretty deep.
No free pass. Everybody running. Last caution in this one is on the lead lap. So watch him in the bottom of the frame. The white 36 will be coming into view here.
I don't see much, I don't see any contact. Looked like he might have gotten down on the apron there a little bit and got the car loose.
And just think, that far back, that many rows back, all those cars side by side, there's no clean air getting to your race car, so pretty good chance that he just was a little loose and had no downforce.
He was a little loose and a little low.
And then he was
he clipped the apron.
Yeah,
so he got the left front tire on the apron, and that'll really de-wedge the car a little bit to help it turn typically, but unfortunately in that situation, spun him around.
Guys, I went to my second ink pen already. I think we have 2 strategies that may unfold here. Right now, if you pit, you can make it to the end of stage 2. But Jeff, you were talking about getting to the end of the race. If they go to lap 80, 20 to go in the stage, they can do this entire race on one more stop with 40 to go in the race.
All right, crew chief, so how are you going to call it? That's what I want to know.
I'm playing for track position right now. Track position is king.
Always like what Hammond would say. Well, so what do you want to do? Why are you asking me? I'm a driver.
I think we'll see a mixed strategy here. I think we'll see more stay out. I think we possibly will see some to hit pit road, thinking about the end of stage 2.
The first 5 cars were last on pit road at lap 47. Everybody else lap 52 or 58.
Our first taker, Daniel Hemrick.
And Bubba Wallace. And a few more further back. Ty Dillon comes in, and so does Corey LaJoie, as Matt Tift has brought out the 5th caution of the day in Pocono. It'll be 36 laps to go in stage 2 when they get the restart green flag next time around. Toyota, Toyota, Chevy, Ford, Toyota, the front 5. This fall starts a new era as Fox becomes the new network home of WWE's SmackDown Live. Catch all the action every Friday night beginning October 4th, only on Fox. Joey Logano's crew chief talking fuel.
The situation, if we stop there, we'd be right about on our number of making it. I think there'd be more cautions, and we would have buried ourselves there. We're about a couple laps short. Here we get to.
Back under green.
The 88 in the middle, free winder.
Whoa! Where is Larson going? Anywhere he wants. 4 wide on the bottom.
That's what about 5 other guys are asking themselves. Where does he think he's going?
Well, he's going to get loose.
Oh, he got loose right there.
Chase Elliott going to make it 3 wide off of turn 1. Not working out here for Denny Hamlin, stuck in the middle. And look at Boyer in second place.
Yeah, Boyer's been hanging in there pretty good.
Man, Denny made a heck of a comeback there through the middle. It's going to go by Johnson and Chase Elliott. Oh, I love this shot. Here comes Larson.
Larson,
again.
he's digging.
That guy gets momentum, and he just never lets it stop.
Boy, and Logano beat everybody back to the throttle coming off turn 3. Gets past Michael McDowell, and now here comes the 42 of Larson.
Yeah, Larson, Mikey just ran in there and just stayed in the throttle a bit better and was able to make that pass.
Now, on our scoring pylon, those green and red arrows are positions gained or lost since the restart.
So they're quarter clear. Use it all the way up, no pressure behind.
I love the way they just shoot out a line, get a run, and you just drop to the inside and make something happen.
Look at Truex there. He's been having to fight himself out of a big hole. Restarted 16th. He's in 19th, and look at this pack right there.
Clear top now. Clear top there. 12 still on the bottom here.
That's the downside of that strategy. It just puts you in the middle of all that mess. Very easy to take yourself completely out of this race if you're not careful. Truex is like, can I get a break here, please?
Jamie.
Well, the reason the 19 had stayed out after the first stage break was because the car is so terrible in traffic. He said if they're anywhere near cars, it just doesn't go. So they tried to stay out to get that clean air, and he restarted second. Well, you know what happened from there. We got caution after caution.
And Mike, one thing that I'm seeing, look, the spotters are, what is it, like 3,500 feet over to that tunnel turn. So when these guys make these abrupt moves, whether it's in traffic or out of traffic, they're doing it on their own. They're pretty much on their own in some of these moves they're making.
But, you know, I agree. But at the same time, Darrell, you know, as a driver, you can't rely on them all the time. You've got to feel the air. You've got to know the momentum that you have and whether you're getting clear. If it's within inches, yeah, you know, you need to rely on those guys up on the roof.
Agree.
Our pole sitter, William Byron, takes his Camaro up into 13th, passing Paul Menard.
William Byron's got a really fast race car today. They had the track position, show what they could do earlier. Now will this strategy work out for them to get that back by the end of this race?
His teammate Alex Bowman in the 88 working on Michael McDowell. This is for 10th place, and it's going to bring Eric Almirola in the 10 with him.
A great job by Michael McDowell. Drew Blickensderfer playing out that strategy game at track position.
Corey LaJoie in the wall again, and this one has consequences.
Yeah, the right rear definitely down.
Clear down, clear down. We're done.
He's going to get off the racetrack, and we are staying green.
Oh, you got a lot of damage that right side.
I saw a lot of debris. I'm really surprised that this thing's staying green.
Nope, caution. Debris brings out the caution at lap 69.
Crew chiefs are pretty smart, aren't they? I heard a couple of them say, yeah, I think there'll be another caution.
They know those Larry Mack trends.
Yeah, they know the trends.
Cautions breed cautions.
There you go. I think a right rear tire. It must have had he had wall contact. Probably cut that right rear tire down at some point. At some point.
Had a great 12th place finish last week in Charlotte.
Look at all those
crushed panels,
parts and pieces just
tire
flying
pieces
everywhere.
Yeah,
pretty big
unwinding there.
Pretty big debris field there.
It's like a saw with that tire coming unwound like that.
LaJoie was 28. David Reagan gets the free pass on this caution. So Larry, 18 laps to go in stage 2, and we have said since the start of the day it's all about the numbers here. What are you looking at?
Well, I still think there'll be two thinking structures here. I think one, drivers are looking at what can I do to get to the end of stage 2, and I'm looking at the 5 drivers that are out there that they've not pitted since lap 47, including leader Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, Eric Jones, Clint Boyer, and Chase Elliott. They would be trying to run 53 laps. But even before this caution, we had 13 laps of cautions. You can save a lot of fuel. So they may be focused on let's try to get to the end stage. But I think there are drivers and teams that are thinking, what can I do, to Jeff's point earlier, what can I do to make this on as few stops as possible? That window opens in about 11 laps. You pit at lap 80, you pit again at lap 120, 40 to go, and you're done coming to pit road. I think there'll be two thoughts of wisdom here as far as what to do.
Hey, Larry, one other thing you might want to look at that I bet they're starting to look at, and that's called the radar and some rain that is headed this way. I think we're going to get to the end of stage 2 and make this a complete race, but there's a chance some of those could pop up and end this race a little early.
Now, what's happened so far today, and believe me, this is the most variable place for weather in America, I believe. What's been coming over the mountains as heavy green and yellow on the radar has broken up just before it reached this part of the Pocono Mountains. Have a look at it today. And as they try to climb over the mountains, those storm cells dissipate. So we have been rain-free so far. Go ahead.
Wonder why.
Go ahead.
Why they
tell
would
us. Tell us, DW.
All of a
Tell
sudden
us.
magically dissipate. I wonder what it could be.
Could it be the vortex theory?
Yes.
Does the vortex have anything to do with heat being generated from engines and cars and people in that pavement?
And does it work in a triangle?
Ooh.
That I'm not sure about.
All right.
19
Martin
Truex on pit road.
among those pitting. Chris Buescher is in. DiBenedetto, Preece, Chastain.
I bet they're going to work on this 19 car a little bit. What do you got, Jamie?
That's right, Jeff, because he just hasn't been happy with it in traffic, and obviously he'll be back in traffic again, so they'll work on it here. Air pressure adjustment has been the call today so far. Right side tires. Let's see if they make any chassis adjustments. Nope, they'll work on the left side. It's a 4-tire stop.
No tape on the nose also there.
Been a lot of carnage at Pocono today already.
Yeah.
Fans having fun at Pocono. 71 laps complete. Kyle Busch, Clint Boyer will restart up front. Here's the Martin Truex pit stop, and they're going to add a piece of tape right there.
Mike, I don't know what that does, but that's where he put it. That's where they wanted it.
Well, that area right under the Camry.
Well, that's the only thing you can do for if you're in traffic. You want to make that car a little bit better in traffic. That's really all Cole Pern can do right now for Martin Truex Jr. is add a little tape to the nose.
Yeah, a little less drag, a little more downforce. Yep. Might be the hot tip.
Truex will restart 26th.
Oh, man, the 6 and Newman. Got in the back. I think that's Keselowski. Almost turned him around. Here goes Larson 3 wide again. Shocking.
Boy, Larson, he likes these restarts. He gets 2 or 3 on every one of them.
Remember how he won the All-Star race a few weeks ago on a late restart.
He's looking pretty good right here. He's aggressive. I know that.
Jimmy Johnson on the inside. No help. Gets up into line. Here comes Larson again.
Of course he does.
You go left, I go right.
And the sun popping through once again. Change the complexion of things. Paul Menard with a move on Ryan Newman for 15th.
Tell you, these guys further back. Here's Ryan Newman getting loose, trying to go 3 wide underneath the 21 Menard. But we've seen where cars can go 3, 4 wide into turn 1, but they normally get single file by the tunnel turn. These guys have been side by side all the way back.
I've seen a lot of contact. I mean, you know, it's nothing, obviously nothing serious. They would save the car, but I've seen a lot of contact in this race so far. Pushing, shoving, trying to get an opening.
Logano side by side. Here's where they get stalled out. I think he's far enough ahead where Keselowski's not going to be able to get a run on him. Bowman trying to slam the door on Keselowski. Does a good job doing that. This battle's not over with yet. Ryan Blaney. Well, you don't want to get stuck on the outside of turn 3 like Paul Menard did there.
Mike, you hear those engines, how long it takes them to get going, get wound up. You get out of that throttle, man, it stalls you out.
And you're in high gear all the way around, unlike past years.
Yep.
Clint Boyer has taken the lead from Kyle Busch.
It isn't a definite rain out. Good chance we could run the whole race. But into this stage, the question is do we want to take the stage points or keep the track position? You know it's going to split again. We've lost too many stage points. We gotta gain stage points. We ain't had any in 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, first he's going to have to hold off. Man, the 18 of Kyle Busch, look how good he is to go to the outside of Clint Boyer.
In turn 3 of all places.
In turn 3 of all places.
I think Clint was protecting the bottom, and he overdid it. And the 18 just sailed around the outside. That's Kyle Busch at his finest.
Well, the top 10 positions at the end of the stage all pay points, 10 back through 1, pay championship points, and there's a playoff point for the stage winner.
And that comes into play in those playoffs and can be the difference between getting you to the next round or not. So I understand why they're focused on them, but if you really want to get the best stage points, go out and win the race.
Boy, this guy right here is just having, he's back in traffic now. Truex, he's back in 24th spot. Just the car doesn't look good in traffic.
He's only gained 2 positions since the restart. He's been trying. He's been dropping to the inside on every group he can get near, but passing is difficult here.
You can see how good his race car is. He flew through the center compared to Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Oh, doesn't seem like he wants to pass him.
Why don't he pass him instead of running into him? I mean, I guess he wants to give Ricky a shot down the front straightaway here, but that gum looked like he had a lot of momentum.
That was interesting.
It was.
That was very interesting.
Well, maybe he didn't like that tape on the nose and was trying to scrub it off.
Well, remember, he's one of those drivers that was side by side, stalled out, and that allowed the car behind to make a pass. Maybe he just didn't want Suarez, who's behind him, to go by him.
A lot of maybes in this race.
Kyle Busch out in front of Clint Bowyer by 1 second. Ricky Stenhouse has cut down a right rear tire. The safety inner liner, though, stays up, so the tire does not come apart. No body damage. No. Stenhouse pits and returns to the race 1 lap down. 20 to go, stage 2. Let's see how your Coca-Cola Racing family are faring. Hamlin, Larson, Logano in the top 10. Everybody else on the lead lap. Austin Dillon got up into the turn 3 wall at lap 30. He's out of the race. Second place heating up. Stewart, Haas, Ford teammates. Bowyer and Harvick. Chase Elliott is up to 4th, having passed Denny Hamlin. Kyle Larson 6th. William Byron passing Brad Keselowski. That's for 12th place, Vince.
Well, and Brad believes that they can go to the end of the second stage, obviously, and as we've talked about strategy-wise, they will then have to make a final stop in this last stage that is coming up. But Brad is very confident about their car. They feel like they've got one that could win it if they could just get the track position they need.
Now David Reagan, he's got a tire down, goes to the apron as Almirola pits.
Remember, the 38 had damage to his right rear. Matt?
And you can see that 10 is in. He was trying to hold out hope, but he said it was smoking, and he told Johnny Klausmeyer it's definitely down. They didn't want to take a chance. If there was maybe a chance, it wasn't, but he says, nope, we're hitting pit road.
Another right rear for David Reagan. Perhaps a tire rub. He's had a lot of damage there on the right side.
I'd say definitely body damage caused that tire to go down. But, boy, we've seen a lot of cars with right rear damage, but we've seen a few cars in the wall, too, or scraping the wall.
Here's Eric Almirola just going a lap down to our leader. Can he, with those 4 fresh tires, run him back down and put himself back on the lead lap or stay in that position for the free pass?
You know, Mike, I was thinking with Kyle Busch, it seemed like the more he races, the better he does. And, you know, he hadn't been able to run Xfinity races or any truck races because he run, I think, I don't know if he has any left or not this year. And you think about Kyle Larson, I think the more he races, the better he does. There's some guys that just are happier and do a better job overall when they're in the race car all the time.
There's Kyle Larson, 6th place, to your point.
Larson, I mean, he's been in a sprint car, a couple times this week. He won on Monday, and I don't know if he run another race this week or not, but he's another guy that just seems like the more he races, the better result he gets.
And you know, I think that's a big deal for Kyle Larson and why Chip Ganassi took him under his belt, because he likes these guys that want to get out there, especially do some dirt track racing.
Christopher Bell, another guy who raced a lot. I mean, there's just a lot of guys that race a lot, and it seems like it pays off.
We saw all 4 Hendrick cars finish in the top 10 last week in the 600, and here we are, 4 of them inside the top 11 again this weekend.
Listen, they have come so far. I mean, Bowman, all these guys in these Hendrick cars, the engine program is better, the car program is better, the drivers are doing a better job, the crew chiefs are doing a better job. They're there now. They just need things to fall in place for them to win some races, more races.
Chevrolet with just the 1 victory this year. Chase Elliott. And Kevin Harvick, his 0 for rate. He is 0 for 2019. He is, I think, 0 for 30 at Pocono. 30 starts, 0 wins here. And look at the comparison with last year for Harvick to this point.
That is a big, big drop-off. No question about it. And I know he and Rodney Childress, they got to be scratching their heads wondering what the heck do we need to do.
0 for 36 at Pocono.
Wow. That's hard to believe, because Kevin Harvick's one of those guys that has won on a lot of different tracks. Very talented guy. He's had some very fast race cars here. So I'm a little surprised he hasn't picked up that first win, but he has been second 4 times.
Yeah, they have good race cars. They've been really good just about every race. They just haven't had that great race car. I'd say the All-Star race was one of the best races I've seen him run this year, and he finished second.
Well, not everybody takes to Pocono. Jamie McMurray in the studio. I heard you say earlier that your favorite part about Pocono was driving out of the tunnel after the race.
Yeah, I'm glad. I really appreciate you bringing that up, Mike. It was just always a really tough track for me. I liked driving at Pocono. I just never had good results. When they repaved it, it was a little bit better for me. But yeah, it was just always a super challenging track for me. Hard to get a balance of your car in all 3 of those corners.
Well, that's what I meant, Jamie. You have won on the sport's biggest racetracks. But isn't it kind of funny looking back that success here eluded you?
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody has tracks that they're, good and bad at. And Pocono, for me, was just always super challenging. Whether it was just not having the car where I needed it or not being on the right pit strategy. And I mean, I'm watching this today, and there's so many different pit strategies. As a driver inside of the car, you're just so dependent on your crew chief, to count on him that he's making the right decisions. I was laughing at Boyer earlier because he's like, we got to stay out and get stage points. And And as a driver, you don't really see the whole picture. And when you're the crew chief on the box, you kind of see a bigger perspective of everything.
Jamie, I can picture you in the studio right now when Kyle Busch went to the outside of the 14 of Clint Bowyer saying, now, if I'd had a car like that, I might have won at Pocono.
Jeff, I almost fell out of my seat when we saw that. I was trying to figure out what corner we were in. I looked up and I'm like, oh my gosh, he's going to the outside. That was incredible. And honestly, that happened right after Clint said we should stay out and get the stage points. And Clint saying that makes me think that he must not feel like he has a car that he can win with today, and so he wants to capitalize, by getting the most stage points that he can.
Yeah, I think this is such a momentum racetrack, and then we shifted here forever, and here's his pass. Watch this. Clint Bowyer has got to be taken by surprise with this move that Kyle Busch puts on him right here.
It just looked to me like the 14, Jamie, Clint Bowyer got a little loose and really went into the corner easy, and the 18 just dove to the outside.
Yeah, I mean, that had to have caught Clint, off guard for Kyle to shoot on the outside. It almost looked like Kyle had intentions of trying that. And I mean, Jeff, the outside of turn 3 at Pocono is not the optimal place to pass at. It's really sketchy, especially you can see how dark the track is where the rubber is. And some of the tracks we go to, running in the rubber has less grip. At Pocono, though, you want to have your right side tires be in that rubber for the most grip.
Thanks, Jamie. Great insight. Kyle Busch leads this race now from Clint Bowyer by 5.6 seconds, with Harvick, Elliott, and Hamlin in the top 5. 12 to go in stage 2. We'll take you, Fox, side by side. This Father's Day, Busch Beer is celebrating dads and dad jokes with a contest to send one lucky dad alongside his son or daughter to get behind the wheel of a real stock car on Daytona International Speedway. Tweet your best dad joke to @BuschBeer. Use hashtag #DadToDaytona and hashtag contest to enter during the race today. Getting down toward the end of stage number 2, Gibbs cars on pit road. Matt.
And service already complete on Denny Hamlin's 11. It was working perfectly for Chris Gabehart's strategy. The car pretty drivable, tight down in the center of turn 3, Jamie.
The 19 of Martin Truex Jr. See the smoke? He just reported to the team, I think I'm blowing up. He's been saying he's had a problem with the steering and he wasn't sure what it was. It kind of came in and out, but this is the first time he said he thinks he's blowing up. Looks like they'll put tires on it, and the smoke's getting worse, guys.
They're done.
Yeah, I think he's definitely blown up.
Maybe lost an oil pump belt.
Well, smoking out the tail. Yeah, I don't know. He's smoking out the tailpipes. That's not good.
All right, his teammate Denny Hamlin, they brought him, Chris Gabehart, they brought him to pit road, and he pitted right there with 69 laps to go. What that tells me, they plan on splitting it down the middle between now into the end of the race. They'll stay out at the end of stage 2. They should pit about lap 125 with 35 to go. They're going to split it right down the middle. I'm surprised more didn't go down this road.
Yeah, Larry, there is no way that somebody could shift. I mean, the pace has to slow down so much for them to even consider that. I don't see any way you could do it.
No,
not with the ratios, not at all.
Yeah, no. Truex out of the race with engine issues.
Because I'm just surprised that with these 550 horsepower engines that we would have an engine issue at all.
Remember, Truex is locked into the playoffs. It gives that team the opportunity to experiment.
Well, and they did put tape on the nose. I mean, I don't know if maybe heat was related. He was in a lot of traffic. That tape on the nose closed off the grill opening and maybe raised the temperatures a little too far.
Winner last week and winner here last year being pushed to the garage.
You know who will know the answer to all these questions? Martin Truex Jr. when we talk to him.
Oh, here
comes Kyle to pit road. This will be with 6 laps to go in stage 2.
This is a guy that's got plenty of stage points and wins.
Boyer's in, Harvick's in as well.
There's one thing I know about that 18 car, Mike. I don't know how he does it in and out every week a little better than everybody else. Jamie?
And the 14 of Clint Boyer a little bit tight in his race car. The 4 said he's gotten better in the 18 of Kyle Busch. Tight off 1, tight off 3, and he thought he couldn't pass coming into this race. He was a little pessimistic, but the car better than he expected. You see a chassis adjustment. First one we've seen for the 18 today.
Ryan Blaney also getting service. They're done on Harvick a little before Boyer, and out they come racing down the pit lane.
But look where Kyle Busch is. They all came in together, and look where Kyle Busch is.
Well out ahead.
He's not
gone.
Can't even see.
Chase Elliott assumes the lead with 6 laps to go in stage 2. Here comes Eric Jones to pit road, Vince.
Eric Jones has liked his car throughout much of the day. The one complaint is that it's just been too tight, and that's what we hear up and down pit road, but they've not made significant adjustments. It all depends on the track position. They are going to make a chassis adjustment here for Jones to go along with 4 tires, trying to break that streak of tough finishes over the course of the last month. They need a good one here today.
So that leaves 4 drivers on track who were last in the pits early. Chase Elliott at lap 47. Johnson, Bowman, and Logano were in the pits at lap 52. Ryan Preece is in, 5 to go, stage 2.
It's kind of an Alan Gustin's kind of race to me, where you got a lot of strategy. Chase Elliott really good at playing out that role. That 9 car could be a surprise for us.
We heard he's going to pit this next time. Spotter Eddie DeHunt.
And that will turn the lead back to Kyle Larson. Matt Tiff slow down in turn number 1.
You can't make it back from there, Mike. If you're not under power, you're not going to coast back.
No, it's Landon Castle.
Might be out of fuel.
Got a
no, he's flat left rear. Yeah.
Left rear.
Now, if this thing comes apart, that could bring out the caution.
All right, Elliott to pit road. And is Kyle Larson coming with him?
Nope, stayed out.
No.
Johnson's on pit road. Here comes Bowman.
Team Hendrick.
Yeah.
Matt?
Jimmy Johnson still on the tight side in the 48. The 9 of Elliott stops a little deeper in his box. Remember back early in the race, they made that Packer change and the car really seemed to come to life. He says, not much else to tell you, just a hint of tight. This run, luck's going on, and he's away.
3 to go in the stage. When Kyle Larson comes back around, pit road will be closed.
Yeah, he can't.
Unless he decides to come to pit road.
That's right, because you're right, Jeff. He is the leader. So until the leader crosses the start-finish line, the pits are open. Landon Castle did make it back around to pit road. He gets service.
And that may have been just what kept that 42 car out. They may have been waiting to see. No, he's going to run another lap.
Yeah, he's not coming.
He's not coming.
Jamie?
And Martin Truex Jr. coming off last week's win. I heard you say at one time, I think I'm blowing up. Any indication what happened here?
No, I just come off the tunnel turn and it kind of sputtered a little bit, and I thought for a minute maybe it was running out of gas, but I could see the smoke trailing, so I don't know, dropped a valve or broke a valve spring or something like that. It self-destructed pretty quick, so I came right into the pits, and as it went down pit road, I pretty much knew our day was done. So definitely frustrating. Best Pro Toyota was really fast. We just could never get any track position, and we battled that, but had a good car. And then we had steering box issues. I felt like there was somebody under the hood steering the thing for me. That's not very fun going into corners here, but we'll rebound. It's just one of those days. Got to thank TRD for some great engines all year. This is just a bump in the road, and hopefully get it figured out and it won't happen again.
Thanks, Martin. Mike?
Thanks, Jamie. Martin Truex joins Austin Dillon and J.J. Yaley out of the race as there's 1 lap to go for Kyle Larson in stage 2.
Denny Hamlin had a power steering issue in practice, actually spun out in practice, and I'm just wondering if there's something that was happening in that 19 car, being teammates with Denny Hamlin, that reared its head here in the race.
If you go down and look at the power steering system that they use today, the reservoir is very, very small, and the system is very, very light.
Look at this group here from 5th on back. Some of the drivers that are going to get stage points, not the usual suspects in many of those positions.
And this has been not common, but more common than what we've seen in many years with this aerodynamic package and horsepower. And that's been a fun story to follow, seeing some names you typically don't see getting stage points and getting top 10s.
I think Kyle Larson just, I swear, he got real quiet.
Well, he wants to be sure that he picks up that pace car. He certainly picked up the win here. Our stage 1 winner and stage 2 winner, Kyle Larson.
It's the 3rd time that Larson has swept the first 2 stages of a race. Logano, Byron, Keselowski. And here comes a group with Newman, Kurt Busch, Wallace, Buescher, Hemrick, and Suarez. Kyle Larson captures the flag for stage 1 and 2 in Pocono. Stage 2 complete. Pit road is open. Vince.
Brad Keselowski bringing it in, a former winner here, won in 2011. That run, he developed a push that he had not had in the previous run, so they're going to make an air pressure adjustment in the right front to go along 4 tires for Brad Keselowski. Matt.
Kyle Larson 0 for 59. Those stage points, playoff points, very important. They know they're going to restart no better than 11th. They're going to try to free the race car up because the sun's out, track's losing some grip. Car too tight, Jamie.
Worst track statistically speaking for the 22 at Joey Logano. Too tight, 4 tires, air pressure. The 24 William Byron started on pole, needed a little help in traffic. He's too tight. They made a chassis adjustment as well.
There's your Sunoco race off pit road. Logano picks up 1 spot. Larson loses 1. Everything else pretty well stays the same there.
What do you say we check in with the young man in the 24 that started on the pole today? Hey, William Byron, it's DW. Got a copy there, my man?
Yeah, it's I got you.
Hey, buddy, got a good race going. Start on the pole today. Car looks pretty fast. What are you and Chad going to do to win this thing?
I think it's just going to come down to a ton of restarts and a little bit of strategy. So just try to stay on the right side of both of those, and should be in good shape. It's been kind of hard to pass as the run goes on, but should be all right.
Are you pretty happy with has the track stayed pretty consistent, and are you pretty happy with the car?
Yeah, the sun out seems to change the handling a little bit more than I expected, but clouds are going in and out, so when it's cloudy, it's a little bit freer. So just got to account for that a little bit in here.
All right, buddy. Well, good luck and get you a win.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
William Byron finishing 3rd in stage number 2 after starting from the pole. Will restart 13th. It's a beautiful day in the Pocono zone of Pennsylvania. Here are your Xfinity fastest pit stops. Joey Logano will line up 10th for this restart with a 13.2 second stop and the only sub 40-second trip down pit lane.
And it certainly helps when your pit crew has that kind of a stop at 13.2.
Kyle Larson will restart 11th.
Mike,
9 drivers stayed out.
I like the way this restart's lined up. You're going to have Kyle on the outside with the 11 pushing him. You're going to have Harvick on the inside with the 14 pushing him. So this could be a team battle right here going into turn 1.
2x4 up front. 2 columns, 2 rows, 4 drivers. Teammates at the front, nose to tail. 56 laps to go as we begin stage 3.
Working those tires, clean them up, getting ready to go. A little heat in them.
Bailey Curry got the free pass. And the pace car will make a sharp left, and they will head for the Geico restart zone.
All right. I think I'll stand up for this one.
Green flag now. Suarez way downstairs. And
Kyle Busch had the help of 2 teammates because he had Eric Jones back there in the 3rd row.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, no, Harvick's not going to let him get away. Harvick's right on his door.
I think Blaney's in trouble. He either got worked up or sent up and lost a lot of spots coming out of 1.
Ooh, this could get interesting right here as they go side by side into the tunnel. Kyle Busch had a nice push from his teammate Denny Hamlin just before they got into the tunnel turn.
Little block there by Hamlin on the Boyer. Keep him behind him. Working that throttle, trying to stay in as much as he can and keep that momentum up.
I mentioned Blaney. He's dropped 11 positions down there in turn 1 as a result.
Boy, Blaney's just had terrible trouble on every restart, seemed like.
So you see the top 9 all kept their same positions on this first lap. And at the bottom, Ryan Blaney minus 10.
You know, to build a car, oh, we've got William Byron up on the, contact into the wall of the right rear.
Recovery here. You're
clear. Well, we've seen that. We've seen that body damage on those right rears. Cut down a right rear tire. Got to watch that.
2 below, 1 below. 1 more.
Matt Tifft on pit road as Blaney in the 12 tries to rebound.
I couldn't tell. Was that William Byron that said he was loose, or was that another driver?
We're told that was Byron. Well, the sunlight. The track is now in full sunshine, and he told you to. That makes things different.
Could be a little, car be a little different for him. But you see way up the track here in turn 1, and he makes a little contact with that right rear into the wall. That makes me a little nervous for a rub back there. We've seen that happen to a lot of cars today.
I think it was a little further back where it probably won't be an issue for the tire rub, but it certainly is going to affect his side force and down force.
That's a pretty good little lick on that right rear corner.
Yeah, that's pretty great camel work too.
Yes, it was. Good job, guys.
Matt Tifft takes his Mustang into the garage, and Reed Sorensen has made an unexpected stop. 53 laps to go.
Yeah, this is one of the toughest places on restarts, not just because they're 3 and 4 wide, but if you want to have a car that's good on the long runs, you lower the air pressures. What does that do? That gets the car on the splitter as you break into turn 1, or sometimes it just makes your car bounce so loose at the beginning that it's hard to run side by side or 3 wide into turn 1.
Yeah, the worst thing a driver can hear is hang on to it, it'll come to you. It'll be all right if I don't wreck it before it does. What in the world?
Well, that's Larson going after Logano all the way to the paint down the front straightaway.
I tell you what, they were doing some evasive driving there.
This is these 2 guys battling for the first cars that came off pit road with 4 tires. I feel like Larson feels like if he can get in front of Logano, he can control his own destiny a little bit more in this race.
The hard part, Jeff, is neither one of them have gained a position since the restart. They're running 9th and 10th. 2 things today that have not happened. It has not rained. That's the good thing. And what have we not done?
We have not
cranked it up.
Let's do it.
post a warning. Keep that in your back pocket, what you're doing down the front there when you get up tight to guys that's working. Sworn in by 4. Within 3 here on entry. Right corner, clear, clear, clear. But switches to be set. Lap car in front of you. All clear? Clear back? I don't know what you did here, but it looks really good through 1 now. No pressure. Pulling 5, 6. So 40. Better than the next 4. So 5-0. Nothing in your mirror. Look ahead.
.48 laps to go in Pocono. Kyle Busch puts another one on the board, and he is eking out a margin over Kevin Harvick over the last 3 or 4 laps. It's gone from half a second to not quite 9/10 of a second. Looking back at 17th, Newman and Byron. 47 to go. Larry, what are you thinking?
Well, Mike, everybody's on about the same tires right now, and everybody has to stop at least one more time. About 2.5 to 3 hours ago in our pre-race, Kevin Harvick told Matt Yoakum he felt like strategy would win this race. The window will open to make it to the end. We see about 34 to 38 laps to go right there. I think who makes that stop the earliest and make sure you can make it to the end, that might be the move that wins this race.
Get in early, be out front when everybody has stopped. Yep. 46 to go, and now Harvick eating back into Kyle Busch's lead just a little bit. We'll go side by side. out in front of Kevin Harvick, and Harvick is growing ever closer as we look at today's Credit One Bank ones to watch.
Well, Mike, I got my eye on the number 20 of Eric Jones. He's running 5th right now. He loves Pocono. He's finished in the top 10 3 of the 4 times he's been here. That 5th place finish could go a long way to getting him into the playoffs. He's only 2 points outside that cutoff right now.
Jeff, the first 8 races of 2019, Kyle Busch won 3 races. In the last 5, only 1 top 5. I like what I'm seeing in that 18 car, but I still say, who makes his final stop at the right time?
You know, Larry, it pains me to say this, but Kevin Harvick is 0 for 36 at Pocono. But today, number 4 will be number 1.
No, no, no. It's going to be his teammate, Cliff Boyer. He turned 40 years old this week and partied down in the Bahamas. Well, today, he has been on the gas. He's been in the top 5 all race long. He hasn't finished top 5 here in 18 races. It's the 14 who celebrates in victory lane.
Well, maybe. Remember, Denny Hamlin won both races here his rookie year. That's part of his 4 Pocono wins. It's been 17 races since he won at Pocono. Hey, that's DW's number. Number 11 becomes number 1 today. And that's your Credit One Bank ones to watch.
There's a lot of numbers going on there, fellas.
Yeah, there is. 4 will be 1.
4, 0, turning 40. By the way,
nobody chose the 42.
Now, no, you're right. And he won both stages today. I can officially, though, now call Boyer an old man. He's always called me an old man, so I get him back now that he's in his 40s. Oh, big wiggle for Brad Keselowski down through turn 3. Is he coming to pit road?
Here's Vince.
Well, and you can go 38 to 40 laps on a tank of fuel. So Brad Keselowski, the first to come as this window opens here to get us to the end of the race. Just right sides for the 2 car.
Larry, what do you think of that call?
The window's open right there, and we know they have 3 wins. Paul Wolf, his crew chief, he can really roll the dice. I think it's a great call.
But Larry, what about taking just 2 tires?
Well, he didn't have that many laps on his lefts, Mike, because it's not been that long since they were on pit road.
It's an aggressive call, but like you said, Paul Wolf, he likes to be aggressive, and they're in a position to be able to do that. And now that's going to set it up for what the rest of these guys are going to do on pit road.
You know what I say about the 2? If you're going to go big. They just went big.
Well, here's the second of the Penske cars to pit, Joey Logano, who also has wins in the bank.
Logano came in from 10th position. Jamie?
And Joey Logano makes his way down, similar to his teammate, just went 1 lap longer. Yeah, you're right, he won earlier this season in Vegas, but they haven't been the 22 team that we've come to expect. Today has been decent, the car hasn't been terrible. They'll put on right sides, you see the wedge adjustment right there, and it'll be a 4-tire stop for Logano.
A long 4-tire stop with that adjustment. He's going to go down a lap.
Logano exiting now as Kyle Busch comes across the start-finish line, and right about here will put Joey 1 lap down.
Boy, that's a big gamble right there for that 22 bunch. I guess the car, they must have had to go to 4 tires, Vince.
The 20 car of Eric Jones from 5th place, and you heard Jeff Gordon earlier say this could be his day. They really like their race car, but in traffic, it's just been too tight, so they gave him a chassis adjustment with those right sides. The 12 of Ryan Blaney, he got a bad start at the beginning of the race. He got a bad restart to open up stage 3. Just can't get the track position. A chassis adjustment with those right sides as well.
And that long pit road you see when you're creeping along at pit road speed, those cars are under green on the track, feels like the longest pit road that there is. Of course, it is the longest, but it just seems like it takes forever.
But you know what's funny, Jeff? You can get on this pit road, you can come off turn 3 down there, and you can haul butt to the end of the pit road. This pit road is so long and so big, but we have very few speeding penalties here. I think it's just because it's so wide open and you don't have to.
11th place, Bubba Wallace, who picked up sponsorship to be able to run the entire season for Richard Petty Motorsports. And just outside the top 10 with him, pole sitter William Byron.
Putting that sponsorship to good use here today.
Yeah, I just like what Bubba's doing. You know, I just think Charlotte was a huge turning point for him and that team. He's gotten a little bit of confidence back and showing up on the racetrack.
And right behind him,
another guy,
Chris Buescher.
I just really am. I'm high on Buescher. I think he's a great driver. I think he's doing a great job in that 37 car, getting some great finishes. Just doing a really good job, Mike.
Byron to make the pass for 11th as Ricky Stenhouse completes his stop. So the top 5 and 7 of the top 8 have not stopped in this cycle.
I tell you, I was watching the 18 and the 4, and the 4 had really closed a little bit, pretty close to the 18. Then they got some traffic, and Kyle Busch was able to get by the lap car a little quicker than what Harvick was, and he got a little bit of gap back. But that 4 is pretty good.
And you can't have a hiccup if you're either one of these guys when you come to pit road. Whatever happens here on pit road, that could be the decider of who comes out first.
Now, Denny Hamlin has the oldest tires. He's not been in since lap 91. These two, Kyle Busch and Harvick, were both on pit road at lap 94 along with Clint Boyer.
Mike, just watch this 18 car, though. I don't know how he does it. He doesn't speed on pit road. Got a fast pit crew, but you see the difference between he and the 4 when they come out of the pits.
Jamie?
Kevin Harvick in the 4 on the right side, just saying he's tight through the tunnel turn and exit, but the car hasn't been terrible. You see the tear off there. Left side, this pit crew is bad fast, as always, as TJ Ford goes around the left side, saying he's just getting beat through turn 1. He's been driving the heck out of it, but over the bumps, it swings loose and tight. Matt?
The 42, Kyle Larson, is in, already going to work on the left side. A little bit of extra time there. We should be seeing the 11 car, Denny Hamlin, coming up, and also the 9 of Chase Elliott.
Clint Boyer, Jimmy Johnson also stopped, as did Alex Bowman.
How about those 2 tires in the 4 car? Now we've got us a race.
Well, you know why? Because he knew Kevin Harvick and them, Rodney Childs, they know how fast that 18 gets in and out of the pit. That was their best shot.
David Reagan is in. Uncontrolled tire for Kevin Harvick.
Oh, good grief.
Remember, when you take 2 tires, you got to get the equipment back halfway over the box, Matt.
Poor Rodney.
And the 9 of Chase Elliott's in. He goes deep in his box. Meanwhile, the 11 of Hamlin is in. His car on the tight side, very sketchy. Down in turns 1 and 2, especially at entry. He can't be any more free down in the tunnel turn. He's away. They're finishing up service on the 9.
Almirola in for fuel only. Chris Buescher, Bubba Wallace, Ryan Newman getting tires. And here's your new leader, Daniel Suarez.
Mike, you got to feel for Rodney Childers. They made a great call, great strategy, penalty.
But you got to execute it, too. That's what I talked about. You cannot have any mistake.
Let's watch and see what happens here, Jeff.
Remember, when they take those 2 tires off, that equipment has to be back, I think, with the second half or inner half.
Oh,
no, that's what it was.
Tire.
It's the loose. The wheel just got away from him. That's what happened.
Yeah. Only slightly, but that's all it took, and Rodney knew it.
Yeah, boy, you got to feel for these guys.
Matt DiBenedetto on pit road. And here comes Harvick to serve his penalty.
See all that smoke coming out of that 4 car? That's
from the helmet.
Driver.
Yeah.
He's not happy.
So Suarez is the leader from William Byron, 6 seconds back. Kurt Busch, Daniel Hemrick, and Paul Menard were all last on pit road at lap 102 during the stage break. So was Michael McDowell and Ross Chastain and Bailey Curry. Those are all lead lap cars. Several different strategies to play out here. Kyle Busch is the first car on new tires at 6th place, behind the top 5 who have not stopped.
I might just think back to a year ago here in the July race here. Suarez finished second. Set on pole, finished second. So he gets around this joint pretty good.
And more on Kevin Harvick. Here's Jamie.
And Kevin Harvick has more problems than just the penalty. He said something's wrong with the car. Not sure if it's a power steering issue or not. It kind of comes and goes. So that's not the first time, maybe not the last time we hear about that today.
Michael McDowell on pit road, making what he hopes is his last stop of the day. as Daniel Suarez holds a nearly 6-second lead over William Byron side by side. Tiger Woods returns to Pebble Beach, site of his most dominant major win, while Brooks Koepka looks to make history. It's the U.S. Open, beginning June 13th on Fox, FS1, and the Fox Sports app. Kurt Busch has just made a pit stop, 30 laps to go in Pocono, Pennsylvania. That leaves 4 drivers up front who've been out there since the stage break: Daniel Suarez, William Byron, Daniel Hemrick, and Paul Menard. Hemrick recently, Brad Keselowski and Alex Bowman just now have run their fastest lap of the race.
Oh, the 4 car's slowing down here. We'd heard about him having some issues with his power steering pump. I think it might be more serious than that.
Wow. Isn't it funny how it just goes. The car's running second right there, you know, in the shot at maybe getting up there and getting after the 18 car, has trouble in the pit and everything goes all to pieces.
Suarez's lead has remained pretty constant, within a couple of tenths of a second, as he pulls up now on Ryan Newman.
This might slow down his progress a little bit.
Let's take a look at the gap back from Suarez from our Goodyear aerial coverage. 5.2 seconds from the leader back to Byron.
Newman's going to battle pretty hard here to try to stay on that lead lap. He's hoping that caution comes out.
Can't blame you, Jeff. I mean, you got to try to hang on to that lead lap if you can. Newman finds himself in that position quite often, but you can't blame him for battling.
And Byron's coming. He just chopped a half a second off of Suarez's lead. So, Larry, the front 4 stopped during the stage break 30 laps ago. How far into this run are they? How far can they go?
Yeah, their lap on pit road was at lap 102. I would say at best it's going to be about 18 to 20 laps to go in the race. That's about as far as they can go, which is about 8 to 9 more laps from right now, Mike.
And Larry, the only advantage I really see to that is that if everybody else that's already pitted stays out, and then they can get 4 fresh tires under that caution when it comes out, then they have a slight tire advantage.
Well, the problem,
in the perfect world, they get the caution right before they're wanting to make their green flag stop.
Well,
the problem for Suarez right now is that Kyle Busch is a full second a lap faster on new tires than Suarez is on warm.
He's coming. You saw he put his hand out the window to signal that he's coming this time.
You know why? It's time, but he's tired of following Newman. I'm coming in.
Don't speed. 3, 2, 1, now.
All right, Suarez will pit with 26 laps to go. William Byron is the new leader. Matt?
And the crew guys are up on the wall. They're telling Daniel Suarez, ease into the box. Don't slide those left sides. They want to go right side tires only. Veteran gas man Rick Pigeon with the can. He's signaling that the car is full. They told him to go.
Paul Menard is also in, as is Quinn Houff. So that leaves 2 drivers out there on the long run strategy, Byron and Hemrick. Last year's Rookie of the Year and this year's rookie contender.
When as they run here, yeah, you're burning fuel, but at the same time you're going to need less fuel because there's going to be less laps to go in this race when they finally do come down pit road.
Tell you what, Byron is running some fast laps. Good lap times right now by him.
Yeah, actually faster than Kyle Busch that last time by.
Pretty impressive.
.25 laps to go. There is Busch in 3rd place, 16 back, and that lap he was 2 or 3 tenths quicker than the race leader Byron. Eric Jones about 3 seconds behind Kyle. So it's 2 Chevys, 2 Toyotas, then 2 Fords, Boyer and Keselowski. And we expect William Byron, the race leader, to pit road this time. This will hand the lead to Daniel Hemrick in the 8 should he stay on the racetrack, and does.
See this on the right rear corner of the 24 where he got up high earlier in this run, but did absolutely hardly any damage to the rear of that car. So that's why it's been very effective, the car has.
Jamie.
Yeah, no issues with William Byron's car since that issue early on. Checking out said do not slide him. Obviously, you saw the call there. Just enough fuel to make it to the end.
And you know, that's a good call, and I tell you why, because his lap times have been very, very good.
Kyle Busch to 2nd behind Hemrick. Larry, what do you think of gas only with 24 to go for Byron?
Well, you wanted to spend as little amount of time there as possible, Mike, and that's just dumping enough fuel in it to get to the end. So I think it's a great call, you know, with roughly 25 laps to go.
I do too, Larry. And again, I reiterate, I was looking at his lap times, and they were faster than Kyle Busch.
The only bad thing about it, if we get that caution, he's going to be sitting out there on some old tires. That's the only downside to it.
Yeah, well, the cars are so strung out around the racetrack right now. I mean, other than if somebody cuts a tire down or something weird happens, I don't see anything to cause a caution.
Well, and that's the advantage of not taking tires is if you're in clean air, you're not in a tight battle with another car aerodynamically, you should still be able to put some good lap times together even with older tires.
Here's our Goodyear camera on board Brad Keselowski. Pulling down on Clint Boyer for 4th place.
Both of these guys took 2 tires. That 14 took 2 tires a few laps later than Keselowski. So Keselowski's car's handling real well at this stage.
Okay, boys, I hate to ask. Mike, you asking.
Larry, 23 laps to go. You talked about if there's a caution. What are the trends?
Well, I first conferred with Professor Pella TT Rah-Rah before I gave these trends right here. But what it tells me is the last 7 June Pocono races. Reason I only did 7, that's how long we've been going 400 miles. The last caution flag happens around lap 144, which is 16 to go. And in those 7 races, 3 times it happened in the final 10 laps.
Wow.
Now, boys, that'll keep you on the edge of your seat right there. That's a good trend.
That's more evidence than vortex theory.
Yeah, he's got one.
That one I can get behind.
Yeah. Jeff, don't be a skeptic. I mean, the vortex is real. You got to buy into that.
Daniel Hemrick cut his teeth in Legends cars, those little 4-cylinder powered replicas of the 30s coupe-bodied modifieds. Won himself $250,000 one day at Charlotte Motor Speedway in the Legends Million. That propelled him into the upper ranks of NASCAR, and Richard Childress Racing has tapped him to drive this number 8 car for 2019, and that's Luke Lambert telling him he's going to give up the lead and come in and pit.
You know, when the crew chief stands up, it's time. It's time to get his guy down pit road.
Mike, just so by the way, there's a lot of blue sky over the racetrack. Sun is shining.
Success has many fathers. Yep, the vortex theory works over a triangle as well. I love it.
Maybe the best yet. Look at that.
Full sunshine.
Beautiful day here in Pocono, or Pocono, as I like to say.
Never would have guessed this at 11 o'clock this morning as it was sprinkling.
Oh, or all week long.
Pow! That is what Kyle Busch has done to the competition today. Put himself in a position to deliver a knockout as he now takes over the lead from Hemrick and leads his teammate Eric Jones by 3 seconds. Jamie.
See the yellow stripe on the bumper. He is indeed a rookie, but he's finished top 10 here in both Xfinity Series races, one Truck Series race. Right side tires is the call. It was a quick stop and close call.
In and out, he should be able to stay on the lead lap. Trouble is, there are 23 cars. Back to Ross Chastain on the lead lap. Toyota top performers are these, with Martin Truex Jr. out with engine issues.
And I think this is, if Kyle Busch can maintain this lead, this could be a bigger moment than you think. I mean, we talk about Kyle Busch winning a lot, but since Martin Truex Jr. has gone to victory lane this year, Kyle Busch has not been in victory lane. He's been seeing his teammate get those wins and get the momentum and start to kind of take hold of what's happening in the championship in this season.
But keep an eye on that Jones boy. He's been fractionally quicker. I'm talking hundredths of a second faster than Kyle Busch the last lap or two. Behind them, 2 Fords, Boyer and Keselowski. Here's Keselowski's radio in 4th.
I just stalled here. Try it, man. You have to be like so much faster to pass. Just being 2 or 3 tenths faster isn't enough to make the pass.
One thing Brad Keselowski never lacks in, and that's effort. That guy, he puts it all out there, and you got to love that.
Alex Bowman was in 5th. He's now the 8th place car, and here's why.
Down into turn 1. Well, looks like you just maybe got in there a little hot, got wide.
Wow. Didn't see the car do anything weird. It just like he slowed down for some reason.
But Bowman is
on
on track.
3 spots right there.
He's on track still, though, to have his 5th straight top 10 finish.
Mike, you talked about Kyle Busch. Jones, his teammates running 2nd, and his other teammate, Denny Hamlin, running 5th. So 3 Gibbs Toyotas in the top 5 right now. The only other car is Truex, and he had some sort of engine problem.
All right, 18 to go. That lap, Eric Jones was a 1/10.5 quicker than Kyle Busch.
And doing that with 2 tires. So is Kyle Busch conserving? Is he holding on to something? Or did those 4 tires not match up with his car as well as the 2 tires matched up with the 20 of Eric Jones? Vince?
You know, for Eric Jones and company, they have been solid all weekend long. They practiced well, matched his best qualifying effort of the season, and they expected to run top 5 here today, and that's exactly what they have done. But they're building tight as the run goes each and every time. And right now, do you have enough speed to pass Kyle Busch, his teammate? It's going to be a tough one to do.
Yeah, I'd say when you're sitting there with a 3-second lead, a little over 3-second lead, and you're Kyle Busch, and you look in your mirror and you can barely see the 20 car, I don't think he's too worried.
You know, we talk a lot about guys, and Eric Jones would be one of those has said, we talked about this with Kyle Larson, I got bad luck. I just need some luck. You make your own luck. You know how you get good luck? You work really hard. And those guys have executed very well this weekend with qualifying a fast car and executing through this race.
Daniel Suarez moving back up. Remember, he was the leader of these long run cars when pit stops started, and Suarez is up to 8th. The highest running Chevrolet in the race is Chase Elliott. He is in 6th. If Chase wins, 10 free boneless wings when you buy any 10 on Monday at Hooters, or free fried pickles if he finishes top 10.
And you know, Mike, week in and week out, the 9 car seems to be maybe the best of the Hendrick cars. I think what Chase and them do is get the most they can out of their car. And they get top 10 finishes a lot. I think Chase doesn't push it over the edge. I don't think they make any crazy calls. They just really run a solid race.
When you think about it, you know, these talk about Alan Gustafson, the crew chief on this 9 car, and Chase Elliott. They've been together for a while. I mean, this team has been together, and they just seem to get better every year. And I think Chase Elliott, he gets better every lap in a race. He usually is in his best and gets the car balance towards the end of races.
Jeff, I think he stays in his zone. I don't think he ever oversteps, stays in the zone.
And here's your Hendrick running order. And Jimmy Johnson 13th, having another workman-like day.
Yeah, I agree. And I said in the pre-race show that I didn't mean that Jimmy doesn't try hard enough. He tries every lap, just like all of us do. I just think that sometimes, you know, you just see openings and maybe you don't necessarily want to take the chance.
Well, I can promise you he's working really hard. I've talked to Jimmy about some of their struggles, and you know, he's racking his brain trying to build the communication with his new crew chief, Kevin Meendering. But that weighs on a guy. You're a 7-time champion, 183 races, and you're 4th in line of your 3 teammates, the other 3 teammates. That gets tough to climb out of that hole.
I agree, Jeff.
Clint Boyer 3rd. He's the best Ford in this race, 6 seconds back. And his lap times are right on top of Eric Jones and Kyle Busch's. Gained a little bit that lap, gained a 1/10.5 on the leader. While Keselowski is 4th, his teammate Joey Logano is back in 14th with Blaney 12th. So Logano trailing the other 2 Penske
You know,
Fords.
and last week, think about Logano. He kind of struggled all through the race at Charlotte.
Oh, 17.
Trouble, 17.
Oh, Ricky Stenhouse.
Hey, there's your trend, Larry Mack.
Pounds the wall just as Larry predicted. 14 to go.
Hey, Larry, finally.
Oh, we've been on a roll here lately.
Have you really?
The trend is Larry's friend.
I don't know if it's that
I don't know if it's anybody
Adam
else's or
Stevens'
not.
friend. Boy, heavy contact to that right side.
Killed that car.
Looks like maybe a right front tire went down.
Yep.
Coming in from the right.
And that's the
Ouch.
tunnel turn. Ooh, that's a big lick.
So we have 21 cars on the lead lap. It'll be 22 when Michael McDowell takes the free pass. That's pretty hard hit.
It was.
Hard place for that to happen.
In a tunnel turn, it couldn't happen at a worse place.
I think that right there tells you how big of an impact that was for Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
He's going straight to the garage if it will turn in, and it does. So Larry, does this change anything or everything?
Well, one key is what you just said, Mike. 21 drivers on the lead lap, and we're going to go back racing with probably about 10 or 11 laps to go. I think you will see a lot of the drivers right at the front stay out. I think you'll see drivers back near the back come and get 4 fresh tires. What do you have to lose? I just don't think if you're up there and Kyle Busch, say back to about Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott, I just don't see how you can give up track position. That has been the story of the day, track position.
And Larry, there are so many good cars that are still in the lead lap and in the top 15.
And Eric Jones is running pretty close lap times to Kyle Busch. I think he's going to take his chances on trying to drag race Kyle Busch on this restart and try to get track position that way, get in front of the 18.
It did look like, looking at our time and scoring, that the 20 was a little quicker most every lap than the 18 was, but the 18 had a pretty good lead.
Going to Michigan next Sunday, the big 2-mile oval in Brooklyn, Michigan, here on FS1. And for the last 2 weeks of our Fox season, Vince Welch going to be off anchoring the truck races elsewhere from where we are with the Cup Series. So, Vince, want to thank you for a fine season. I was going to throw it to you as they open pit road. And now here they come. Well, some of them do, and some of them don't. Let's go to Vince.
Well, one of those, thank you, Mike. One of those that is coming down pit road is the 88 of Alex Bowman, and you guys talked about it. Those out front are going to stay, and why not? If you're a little further back in the pack, the 88 has had a good run today, but they're going to try tires and hope that that gets them to their first win of Alex Bowman's career. 4 tires and a little bit of fuel.
So half the cars on the lead lap decided to pit. Jamie.
Yep, that was the plan. Shaq now said do the opposite of the leaders. He did not take tires last time, took right sides only this time.
11 lead lap cars stayed out. That'll put William Byron 12th on the restart. With 12 laps to go. And the hood up on Kevin Harvick's car. A little fake out at turn 3. Are you coming? Are you going? "11 laps to go in Pocono." Kyle Busch, the first of 11 lead lap cars that did not stop under this caution. Chase Elliott is the leading Chevrolet in this race in 6th. Here's a radioactive listen to his race.
Got me there, 1-2. Yeah, 10-4, not clear. Copy that. Have a good afternoon here, boys. Appreciate the work. Okay, buddy, here we go. You'll have the 21, he's got the 10. Have a good day. I'm okay, I just get absolutely killed. There behind people in 3. Just kind of gets up, gets lazy on the nose. Yeah, it does look a little high. We're a little concerned about that. Feels high. Can we fix it? Yeah, we can fix it. Seems a good bit better here. Yeah, let's worry about it. Make some hay here. You got it.
Whoa, turn 3, car in the wall.
Down. Watch her coming down. All clear, caution's out.
And that is the first 30 laps of Chase Elliott's day. Thanks to our radio room for that.
And Mike, it's funny because Jeff and I were down on pit road. We were looking at all the cars, and I told Jeff, I said, that 9 looks a little high in the nose. And you heard him say they adjusted it.
Yeah, and you can either prop the back up or do a little packer or air pressure to get that nose down.
10 laps to go, ready to restart. Let's check in with Shannon and Jamie.
Thanks so much, Mike. There he is. Kyle Busch was pretty much a class of the field all day, led 68 laps, but he does have some guys on fresher tires starting outside the top 12. Jamie, would you rather be in the group that stayed out or the group that came down and got tires?
Well, I want to be in those first 2 rows, and I think Kyle Busch is in the best position because he's going to get to restart on the outside. We talked about the restarts being crazy today. They haven't been as crazy as we expected, but this is with just a few laps to go. This will be a very intense restart, especially with some of those guys behind having fresher tires.
How do you see this restart playing out?
Well, I mean, Kyle Busch is going to hope that whoever is behind him is going to push him to the lead, and I think whoever is behind Eric Jones is going to push for a little while and then make it 3 or 4 wide.
All right, well, let's see how it goes. Mike, back to you guys.
All right, thanks. Getting ready for what could be the last restart of the day with 9 to go. Quick shout out to our lead Fox cameraman, Nelson Hastings, 61 years young today. All those years up on the rooftop giving you great pictures of the speedways across America. Hey, Nelson. He's covered over 2 million laps of racing for you folks at home.
Happy birthday, Nelson.
Yeah, happy birthday, buddy. You're the man.
Yeah, he is.
On the inside, how hungry is Eric Jones? 8 wins for Joe Gibbs Racing. He needs one. Here we go.
Well, and he's going to need a push from that 14 of Clint Boyer behind him, but no, Denny Hamlin goes 3 wide. That's really going to help out Kyle Busch.
Look at that 42. Goes to that really, really low every time they have a restart, and it pays off. Oh, my goodness. Look behind him, Mike. 3, 4. Oh, no.
In the wall.
Larson in the wall.
Hard. I mean, he made hard contact. I'd be worried about that 42 getting into these turns.
Well, he was going for broke.
He really was, and he hit that wall a ton.
It looked like maybe he was trying to clear himself on the 14 and wasn't quite clear.
Keselowski has jumped to second behind Kyle Busch. 2 veterans going at it with Jones in third. Chase Elliott up to 4th, and Boyer.
Oh, Larson having more issues now. Can't get to pit road.
Trying to get down the pit road.
Here he comes.
Got a lot of damage. Woo. Take a look here, see what happened. It's on the bottom.
Yeah, he makes a move on the 14. He starts bouncing a little bit. I think he's just going to try to squeeze up there.
Whoa.
And I mean, the 14 of Boyer saw it coming. He tried to back out, and they just made a little tiny bit of contact.
That's a hard hit on that outside wall, and he had no choice. He had to cut the pit.
Points are important. Remember, he entered this race just 2 points above the cut line to make the playoffs, so they'll get him back out there if they can.
And 2 points above our 3rd place runner right now, Eric Jones. This could be a huge top 5 for Eric Jones if he can complete this.
And Mike, another good day gone bad for the 42. We've seen this time and time again. Fast car, won a stage, and has bad luck.
For the 3rd time, he has won the first 2 stages, but failed to score the victory. Joey Logano up into the top 7.
Well, we know how aggressive and how good he is on restarts. He always makes up positions on those restarts, and I think he was happy to see that caution come out.
This is for 12th place. Alex Bowman's top 10 streak is in jeopardy.
Oh, man.
Now remember, Hemrick came in and got 4 tires a while back, and so he has pretty good grip versus some of those competitors he's around right now.
He gave that 12th car a nice shove.
Coming to 6 laps to go.
Mike, I just felt like that 18 car, Kyle Busch. We saw him, once he gets out front and he takes that lead, it is hard to get him out of it. It's just hard to get up there and pass him. He has a great pit crew. He does a great job of getting in and out of the pits, and his track position has been stellar all afternoon.
And sorry, I'm mistaken. Hemrick only took 2 tires, but just came in a little bit later than some of the others to get them.
Day is likely done for Kyle Busch's crew with 6 laps to go. Meanwhile, his older brother Kurt has been, I think he set a record for pit stops in one 400-mile Pocono race, but he's still on the lead lap. He's top 10, and his fastest lap of the race didn't come until lap 139.
Done a nice job of whatever the problem with that car was. They've done a nice job of correcting it.
William Byron led 25 laps today. He and Daniel Suarez have battled for the lead earlier. Now it's for 8th place.
Mike, and you're looking at two future superstars in this sport. William Byron won the pole, had a fast car all day. He and Chad Knaus. Then you look at Suarez. I just think you're looking at two superstars of the future.
What everybody up and down pit road is doing right now is looking and scratching their head going, Kyle Busch lost track position. How is he now leading with the better tires, 4 tires versus a lot of these 2 tires behind him, and he got all that track position back? You know, when you're that good, not just meaning Kyle Busch is a good driver, they're just a solid team. They have a fast race car. They qualified up front on pit road. They've been solid, and he's done his job on the track.
Last lap, Kyle Busch was 1/10 faster than Keselowski, 3/10 faster than Chase Elliott, 4/10 faster than Eric Jones, and half a second or more quicker than everybody else.
Pretty good day with 4 to go here. You got the Gibbs car leading, you got a Gibbs car 3rd, and you got a Gibbs car 6th. They're about where they were before that caution came out.
Kevin Harvick continues in this race. He's 1 lap down, and the problem has been diagnosed for Harvick as a cracked steering box. So he'll finish roughly in the low 20s.
We've seen a lot of steering box issues this year. Like I said, Denny Hamlin had an issue in practice. We saw Hendrick cars have some issues at Bristol and some other tracks. With this much downforce, a lot of load on those front tires and putting a lot of stress and demand on that power steering pump.
I don't think I've ever cracked a steering box. I don't know how you'd fix it.
They were a lot bigger and more robust in your day.
Oh, I guarantee you that.
Oh, they're lightweight now.
I think mine was off a truck, tell you the truth.
I want to know what pieces on these race cars these days aren't custom made.
Oh, they
I think
are.
about everything is.
Always remember what Junior Johnson told me about power steering. He said, boy, I don't want nothing on my car. It's going to slow it down. I said, how about me, Junior? You know, maybe I could last a little bit longer if I don't get so tired.
Brad Keselowski in 2nd when he won here in 2011. Who did he pass for that win? Kyle Busch.
Got it. You know what Junior said when I told him I was getting a little tired? He said, boy, you ain't laying down on me, are you? No, Junior.
So coming into this race, Martin Truex versus Kyle Busch. The season turnaround looks like, as of today, it's flipped the other way. Back toward the 18. Out front by 1.8 seconds here. 2 to go.
I think this is going to be a fun rivalry to see build as this season goes on, because I think Truex had a race car that could compete with Kyle today had they not had the issues.
But when you show Kyle Busch statistics like that, that's a challenge to him. And what does he do most of the time you challenge him? He rises to the occasion. And that's what he's done today.
Well, he and Adam Stevens and that crew, we've not talked about them on pit road. No issues, no mistakes.
There's Adam and his wife Samantha sitting here on the pit box.
Celebrating a birthday this weekend.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
She might be really celebrating here in Victory Lane in a couple laps.
The white flag waves over Kyle Busch. 1 lap to go. Sponsored by Credit One Bank.
1.9.
That's the gap to Keselowski.
Boy, I mean, to me, these guys have put together a pretty flawless day. I mean, they lost some track position, but otherwise they have been flawless throughout this day.
I just think a lot of the experience that Kyle has in the trucks and in the Xfinity cars, and with this engine package where you got to stay in the throttle, that's the way those other vehicles are. I think it really pays off for him.
Last lap by, he was still the fastest car on the racetrack by 0.5 of a second over Brad Keselowski. Kyle Busch for Toyota and Joe Gibbs Racing wins the Pocono 400, his 55th career win, tying Rusty Wallace for 9th on NASCAR's all-time win list.
55 wins, and he's still a young man.
And still winning a lot of races.
4th win of the year, most of all drivers, and the winningest driver of this decade in the Cup Series.
No doubt. All you've got to do is sit down and have a conversation with Kyle Busch, and you know why he drives the way he does and why he has the success he does, Mike.
And if you want to know why we talk about Kyle Busch a lot,
yeah.
1 is because he's that good. 2 is because he leads a bunch of laps and wins a lot of races.
Yeah, I agree.
Eric Jones third behind Brad Keselowski. Nice job by the 2 Michigan drivers. Keselowski, the highest finishing Ford, in second. Jones third. Chase Elliott, the first Chevrolet, finishing fourth.
Like I've said about Kyle Busch, Mike, difference in him and the rest of us, I got a trophy case. Jeff's got a trophy case. Kyle Busch has a trophy warehouse.
He just got a nice little bump in the bumper from former teammate Daniel Suarez. Responds with a wave. Larry, I don't want to say they made it look easy, but they certainly didn't give us a lot to talk about, did they?
Well, and again, to your point, they were absolutely flawless on pit road with their 4 pit stops.
Today's victory was fueled by Sunoco. Sunoco, fuel your best.
A little too much wind coming down this front straightaway for Kyle Busch to do that reveal as he normally pops out in the smoke.
Got his best career start at Pocono this weekend. Came from the outside pole and led a race-leading 79 laps.
Where he started might have been a little bit of a clue as to what kind of day he was going to have.
Yeah, those Toyotas haven't been qualifying great this year, but you know when Kyle Busch qualifies up front, he might be in a little trouble.
All he needs is a big S on his chest.
Take a bow, young man. Oh, let's get the flag first.
Well, he came in as the favorite. He's going to leave here as the winner.
They got the biggest noise of anybody in driver introductions.
A lot of cheers. Got to appreciate what he does. It's pretty amazing.
And now,
the bow. I don't think they were all cheers there.
I think I heard one very distinctive.
The bow and a few boos, and like Earnhardt said, as long as they're making noise, that's a good thing.
That was pretty good.
Jamie Little.
And they are certainly making noise for Kyle Busch. He gets the checkered flag. Kyle, Adam Stevens, your crew chief, said this package, it is so different from last time you won here last year. You thought for certain you wouldn't be able to pass. Well, how did you pass and put together nearly a flawless race?
I passed one guy on the outside of turn 3, and that was the only guy I needed to pass, I guess. You know, it was hard otherwise. You know, we kind of got stuck in traffic back there a little bit earlier in the race. We were about 5th or 6th and couldn't really do anything. But overall, my guys on pit road were awesome. We got some spots there. Track position, Adam Stevens and some of our race calls getting us further up towards the front. So it's cool to get a win here. Cool to get a win at Pocono again. Rowdy Nation's up there supporting us, and having some M&M's hazelnut spread Camrys that are fast like this makes my job a hell of a lot easier.
Kyle Busch used to hate this place. Now he's won.